Welcome to Duke Champions.
Listen up. All you ever asked for is an opportunity. You got it today. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
Yeah!
Come on with it, baby!
Yeah!
And an uncontrolled outpouring of hit young people.
Welcome back to the Buffalo Combat Zone. We're your hosts, Randall and Alex. We're waiting on Miley. He should be here shortly. We're going to get into draft breakdowns and grades, but first...
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliott Apollos, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Duke Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Duke Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Duke Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.
Look who showed up in the middle of the intro. What's up, Miley?
Mal, you're muted, buddy.
Yeah.
And I think he got too mad when I said it was Keon's breakout year, and that's why we're not drafting a 2027 wide receiver.
All right, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. We're getting comments now. It's weird. Last couple shows, I didn't see any comments. We were just talking about that. We're going to get into our draft breakdown and grades for our team specifically, and then we're going to probably do some draft grades for other teams based on what we thought. Randall has some cool graphics for that, and then we'll kind of merge right into it. What's up, fellas? How do you like what happened on Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Went from very happy to very frustrated, back to very happy again.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I think this draft is going to be studied in like 3 years to see who succeeded and who did not, because there's a lot of people like Cassius Howell fell because of his arm length, but he was projected as a first round the whole time. There was Nate Bokacher drafted at 56 as I think the tight end too. That was absurd. So I'm very curious to see how this draft unfolds in the years to come to see who succeeds and who doesn't, because consensus boards was just inexistent for this from probably 35 on.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that stuck out to me most, especially on day 2, was the mass amount of tight end trend that came off the board. This is not a great tight end class after the first 2, but all of a sudden they just started flying off, and centers as well. As a bad center draft. People just, I'm guessing they're drafting these centers because there wasn't a lot of depth in the guard class, and they were like, we can flip these guys in the interior offensive line. But it was weird. I remember watching going, wow, this is great. Guys like Skylar Bell fall in the draft because people want to draft a bunch of mid or blocking tight ends. Maybe we created some sort of trend with Hawes.
That is what we did, and that's what people are chasing.
We've done it twice now. We did it back in 2018 with Teron Johnson, and now we've done it now with Jackson Hawes.
He would have come off the board 2 rounds higher this year than he would have last year. There's no question in my mind about that. It wouldn't have been second round, but it would have been third for sure.
I will say this center class is actually good. It was pretty deep, and I think that was and then I think that was a sign of the contracts paid this offseason. You see, it, like center is being prioritized more. a little bit more. They'll never be the most important offensive lineman, of course, but they were the most devalued. I think they're starting to gain a little bit more respect, and I think that's what we saw.
Which is kind of crazy too with center, like teams like Baltimore desperately need a center, and they didn't even take one. But you have teams out there that starting like the Chargers and the Raiders drafting centers that I'm guessing they're gonna flip them to guard because they already have Biotish and Linderbaum. You know,
right?
So it didn't make a lot of sense to me. I will say this, like that was like the big glaring thing, but I mean, I'm going to take credit for it now. I said this beforehand. D tackle was not super high on his wish list. He liked the investment they gave us a ton of clues that they liked the investment they made last year. I also thought linebacker being drafted high would have been a low value role. I would have understood it, right? I've been okay with it actually. But I'd always hedged against that. I also said that edge was probably in play, even if we were not for the first pick at least. You know what I mean? After that, it's not worth doing it. And what they took an edge, which I was pretty surprised they did. I didn't think they would do that. I started feeling wide receiver was out well into the first round. I don't know. It started feeling like Caden McDonald to me, you know? That's how I was feeling about it. And then they didn't do it.
Yeah. It seems – go ahead, Molly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I think that once it was KC if they were going wide receiver, and then it was trade down. Because there was reports they tried to trade up. Cleveland snagged. I'm still mad at the Titans because if you think about it, it's a chain reaction. The Titans take Cardinal Tate from the Browns, so then the Browns go tackle, and then they still need wide receiver at 24, so they take KC. If the Titans would have just not taken Cardinal Tate, the Browns probably would have, and Casey Conception's probably a Bill, and we're all happy.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that. I know we all wanted Conception.
Yeah,
because he's my favorite receiver. And he was definitely my favorite idea. But I think as a consolation prize, Skylar Bell does a lot, do a lot of the same things. I don't think his contact balance is as good as a KC after the catch, things like that. He's more of a bulldog after the catch than Skylar is, but they're kind of similar players in a lot of ways. They're probably similar athletically, size-wise, all that stuff. They both had a little bit of the dropsies 2 years ago, but not this year. Like there's some distinct similarities between these players. One just happened to play against a weak schedule.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree when it comes down to it. I think the biggest M. Night Shyamalan twist for most of Bill's Mafia is that when we got Bradley Chubb, we were like, okay, well, we kind of had to figure out the pool of edges that we were going to get. Bradley Chubb was there. Great addition. And then we get TJ Parker, and we're like, okay, well, I guess it was not McDermott's type for the edge, and it was truly Bean that actually likes these edges as well, unless he's going through like the relationship breakup still, and it's still like ingrained in your head. But I honestly didn't expect a TJ Parker-esque edge rusher to be his first pick post Sean McDermott.
I think we learned. Sorry, go ahead, Miley. I didn't mean to cut you off, buddy.
Personally, I think that it was both of them like that type of edge because
agree.
Clearly, like McDermott's coaching style calls for that type of end. But I also think Bean. I mean, they both came from Carolina, so it's probably a philosophy they both got in Carolina, and I think that maybe McDermott put Bean on that train and he really likes it. But I mean, it makes sense if you want to get the most value out of an edge.
Oh, I lost him.
Most value out of an edge, he has to defend the run, set the edge, and be able to hit the quarterback.
I agree.
100%.
You want to flip into the graphics so we can just start breaking them down since we're already on TJ Parker. That's probably the best move. Let's pull it up and then we'll just kind of break each pick down. Sorry, Miley, you got cut off because of your camera.
Yeah.
Was I right? Did you hear me?
No.
I said I finished your line. You got to be able to set the edge, defend the run, and rush the quarterback at the same time. You get the best value, yeah? There we go.
Yep.
We podcast together.
I mean, think about it. That's kind of how the Eagles and Seahawks have built it too. You get your edge that kind of sets the edge, can play three downs, and you get your pressure from the interior, and you collapse the pocket from all sides. And also from like a 9-tech, you don't need as much bend from the 9-tech because you're lined up more out wide. It's more of a straight shot to the quarterback. When you're rushing from your normal defensive end, you have to bend around the tackle. When you're rushing from the 9-tech, you just have to power through his outside shoulder.
Let's each give our own breakdown of what we thought of each pick. I think it's probably the easiest way to do this. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
And like what we did too. Like I'll start. So I think the trade back 3 times was like, to me, brilliant. I know that they were downgrading it on WGR, saying it was not a genius move. We don't know if it's a good move. Like, we all knew we needed to stack picks. We needed more options. We ended up getting more draft value than we had before DJ Moore at the end of the day, especially in a draft like this where like picks 20 to 45 are all similar level players. I mean, it is brilliant to do this. And the fact that everyone was thinking the same thing, even the GM, like this is my favorite draft, being, it may be controversial, but this is my favorite draft outside of 2018 for Bean, because he kind of went play by play on what he should have done strategically as far as the board, setting up the board itself, right? There's a lot of people that are saying,
I agree.
And we didn't get enough starters and things like that. That's a little bullshit, by the way. Who cares? Like a defensive end 3 or an edge 3, a corner 3, and on this team in the playoffs, in the playoff issues we've had, are major contributors. A wide receiver 4 is a major contributor. We aren't keeping 6 safeties, right? If Kilgore makes the team, he's going to be a major contributor on special teams and on defense. So we'll get to them later, but I thought the way he set up the board was perfect. I think Parker, to me, is a very Bradley Chubb skill set. I think he has more bend than Rousseau. More punching power when he goes speed to power. I think that he is he was a star at the Senior Bowl. A lot of people were pegging him to go first round. Now, there's different types of edges in this draft, so you kind of have to segment them out. He's not as good as R. Mason Thomas at doing what R. Mason Thomas does, right? But him and Keldrick Falk, and I think he's probably more of an outside linebacker type than a Keldrick Falk is, right? So you kind of almost have to put him in his own category based on what he does, because he has more of an all-around skill set than guys like Bain or Messidor do too, right? He does different things. He can play 5 tech, 4-eye, 9. He can stand up, hand the dirt. You can do all those things. So I love the pick from that standpoint. I wasn't expecting an edge either. And in fact, when it first happened, I was kind of like, it wasn't an exciting pick for me until I processed it more. But we need a third edge. Rousseau is healthy most of the time, but Bradley Chubb is not. If Bradley Chubb goes down, we are screwed after him. Now we're not.
That seems to be a little bit of the consensus in those first 2 rounds, right? Those 2 were weak. It came down to depth at cornerback, which people were obviously concerned about that. But when it comes down to it, we had the Broncos game was rough. Once the second that you took one play off, who was it? Was it Dane Jackson that got burned on the sideline? Dane Jackson. And then 2 years ago, Christian Benford went out against the Chiefs game. Kyrie Elam got absolutely burned. So there's PTSD, there's fair PTSD when it comes down to it. And I agree. If Bradley Chubb goes down, we're kind of screwed. We're in the same boat as we were last year. Josh Allen gets us to the second round of the playoffs, and now we get 0 sacks, and it ends in a loss, which is unfortunate. And I do love TJ Parker. If it is true, there was some weight fluctuation that came with the 2025 season, and their defensive scheme changed a little bit from what I've heard and what I've read a little bit on it. 2024 is closer to TJ Parker, is probably what they're going to ask him to do in 2024 instead of completely setting the edge at all times. And that came with, I think, 11 sacks and 11 QB hits total. And I think we're getting that TJ Parker who would have gone after David Bailey, in my opinion. It would have been David Bailey, TJ Parker, Arvell Reese of the hybrid, and then Ruben Bain.
And I think, too, if you look at the board, I've done this. I'm going to do this on every single pick we do. Before you talk, Miley, is TJ Parker was the last edge that does what he does available at the top tier. So, for instance, after TJ Parker, R. Mason Thomas, Cassius Howell, Derek Moore, Zion Young is really not the same kind of player TJ Parker is. He's up on the larger side, and Gabe Akis, right? That's that tier, and he's at the top of that tier, and Bean wanted his guy, clearly, right? So that's kind of also like, I've seen that with the next pick too, by the way. I'm going to go over that, but go ahead, Miley.
Yeah, so for me, I've grown on it a bit. I was frustrated at first just because I didn't really want to attack edge this year. I thought that it should be kind of prioritized the next year in a better class. And we needed the depth. So I was thinking, we can just sign Von Miller, bring him back. He was pretty productive last year in Washington. But TJ Parker is a good player that's going to bring value. And he's kind of like a Bradley Chubb light. It's just there was other edge I guess I prefer to this pick. I liked R. Mason Thomas more. I like Zion Young more. I liked even Gabe Yakus a little bit more. But I think part of it also, you were saying about the defensive scheme, Randall, that I didn't encounter that, like didn't put that into my thought process as much. Yeah. But I think that makes a lot more sense is they're going to unleash him a little more in Buffalo because he's not a starter. He's going to be brought in for certain situations. I kind of feel like it's going to be Chubb and Groot are going to be the starters. They're going to be the early down guys. They're going to get most of the playing time. And then you probably have TJ Parker's Chubb's backup. Michael Hoyt, when he is healthy, is going to be Groot's backup. And then Javon Solomon's going to be that fifth guy who can kind of play either side, hopefully bring a little bend and juice to the room, maybe like a third down specialist guy. Or if they want to move and put Michael Hoyt at that joker role occasionally, and then you have Solomon on the field, and you have three of our outside linebackers there. Yeah. I think that's probably kind of how they're going to be playing it out. So the pick has grown on me, but I still don't love it. I know the Bills don't value it, and I've known that for a while now, but I still think Caden McDonald was the easy pick, especially since us letting him pass got him to go to Houston. And now you have to go against the defensive line of Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter, and Caden McDonald. That's scary. I'm scared for when we have to play them. Like they might legitimately murder someone. It's not fair.
By the way, you like Zion Young more than TJ Parker, huh?
A little bit more. I thought he had a little more juice.
I don't.
No,
I just didn't like TJ Parker's the dip this year, kind of. But
Zion Young just doesn't give you a lot of pass rush juice.
And he kind of comes in with a high pad level, so he can get washed away pretty quickly while TJ Parker kind of stays in line. But I will agree with you that I'm surprised that they didn't go for Akis over TJ Parker. I think Akis would have been maybe a better fit, especially met with the Illinois defensive line coach. I'm very surprised by that, but I agree with you on that one, Miley.
Also, us not getting R. Mason allowed him to go to Kansas City, and Kansas City basically was able to completely rebuild their defense in one offseason, getting Peter Woods, R. Mason, and Mansour Delane.
Yeah.
They still have their issues,
Delane,
but that defense is going to be pretty good, I think, next year.
Chiefs had we'll talk about it later, but Chiefs had a great job.
Yeah. Our Mason Thomas with the arm length at 240 is a risk. And then they also have Ashton Gelati, who had not improved as well in their pass rush. So thinking that our Mason Thomas is going to roll into his freshman or rookie year, fixing that defense, I don't think that's
well, I think I'm not saying him alone's fixing it, but I think him with Mansour Delane and Peter Woods, because you have Peter Woods and Chris Jones coming from the inside. That's going to take a lot of pressure off our Mason as he develops.
He'll be the new Chris Jones eventually. I mean, they're kind of similar in the style of player, even though he's a little shorter and stockier.
Lighter. Yeah.
What's your real quick, what's your grade? We all give it A+ for the trade back, but what's your grade on the actual player at 35, Miley?
B-.
Oh, okay. That's better than I thought you were going to go.
Yeah, I think he's I just didn't want to go edge, but since they went edge, I think he's a decent player. I think he's going to bring some good value. And then at first I had it like a C, but then I read into it more and I bumped it up to B- after hearing about the Clemson scheme changes and kind of thinking about, like, I guess their thought process and seeing it from their lines that raised it a bit. It's just not the route I would have went.
He's our future starter. I'll say this too, real quick.
Yeah, after 2 years, Chubb's going to be gone after 2 years, and then he steps in.
This kid's also like first round pick buttoned up. I mean, he's married at 21 years old. This is a lot of the reason people had him rated higher than Messidor in some respects, because Messidor's like 25 and he's 21.
Right.
Pass metrics aren't that different.
Oh, I had him above Messidor as well.
Yeah.
I had him above Malachi Lawrence. I wasn't super high in either of them.
Yeah, and the thing is he is just like super. Like, you can rely on this kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I have no questions about character or being Keon came in. It was a little bit of a question about not his character, but just his maturity, right? This is not a problem with this kid at 21 years old. he's got a good long career ahead of him. Whether it's a
Yeah.
premier edge or a defensive end 2 or whatever it ends up being, I think he's going to be a long-term starter for us. Whether
I agree.
2 or 1. So
That's why I give it an A, because he seems like, I think if there's a good probability of a good second contract coming out of TJ Parker, and I think in draft related grading, that deserves an A especially at a premium position. That deserves an A.
I give it A- just because I did actually I'm like Miley in some ways, where like this wasn't my preference originally, and I've warmed up to it. I warmed up to it on the day though. I didn't warm up to it over a couple of days. It was like the day of it. So I give it A-. Premier position. I had a late first round grade on him. We got him an early second. That's the appropriate value for the position itself. And Bean is telling us once again that he does value positional value at different in the draft early. I agree with that in some respects. So
yeah, I do too.
All right, Igbinosun. Is it Igbinosun or Igbenison?
I thought it was Igbinosun.
Igbinosun.
Yeah.
Okay. Davison Igbinosun.
All right.
This was, in my opinion, the most head-scratching pick of the draft. I've warmed up to it a bit, where at first I had the pick, I graded it like a D-. I've warmed up to it being like a C-. I get us needing to go corner, but I just thought there was better corners available. And going at 62, I just think was not good value. Granted, a player I would have liked at 62, we drafted all the way at 125, but we'll get into that later. I just think that, he's someone, unless there's injuries, and there's a decent chance there will be, but I never really want to draft, if there's injuries, it should be like, he doesn't really have a path to be a starter unless there's injuries. I have warmed up it on the fact that someone kind of pointed out, like how last year they kind of did matchups for Trey White and Maxwell Harrison. I think they could definitely do something like that with Igbinosun. Like, he's a man press guy. Yep. He's someone a little bigger. He's someone you put against like a T. Higgins when we face Cincinnati, because Max kind of just got cooked by him. But then Max, when we're facing the Xavier Worthies and those quicker, twitchier guys, Max is out there. I think Max is better and he'll play more. But I think there are scenarios where Igbinosun would be the second starting corner over Max if we're playing like a bigger body receiver like T. Higgins. And I can get behind that. And also the fact that, we had Dane Jackson getting playoff snaps last year. Granted, I don't put that as much on Bean because most teams' practice squad CB5 sucks. I blame Sean McDermott for being dumb enough to run man coverage with Dane Jackson in the field.
And not bracket him with a safety.
Yeah, he put him on an island. On third down, 3rd and 6 at like the 30-yard line. I'm going to put a terrible corner who's a practice squad level guy at best on it. And he's not even a practice squad level like man guy. He's a zone guy who's a practice squad level. He is one of the worst man corners I've ever seen. Let's put him on a one-on-one island. That makes total sense, Sean. That's why he was fired.
Yeah, I agree. He plays some slot, so I'm interested in that, like dime packages. I know that we're going to see a decent amount of dime. So I wonder where the dime is going to, who the dime is going to be and things like that. But I agree. I mean, he's a 2.5 year starter at Ohio State. That does mean something. I know you shouldn't scout helmets or what it is, but 2.5 years starting at Ohio State is impressive.
Elite level defense too.
Elite level defense. And look at that, 32-inch arms, over 9-inch. He had a good 4.45 with a 1.53 10-yard split. He does get handsy, but he did go from 16 penalties in 2024 to 4 or 5, yeah?
I can't remember the number.
Yeah, 4 or 5 penalties. I guess he wore boxing gloves in 2025.
That's the worst part of the whole thing, man.
Yeah, he wore boxing gloves to stop it, and it worked. So, so we'll see if that can translate to the NFL with his, the penalties are the biggest thing, but he's a good tackler, which is fantastic, which is what Bean likes as well on the outside, to be able to contribute in run support. He can come down and come in blitzes, what Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks like to do, send corner blitzes and stuff like that. So I think he is a Leonard cornerback.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the size intrigues me. First of all, I wasn't a big fan of the pick when it happened. It surprised me, like way more than the last pick. And then the next one actually surprised me even more than this pick. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
And I understand the rationale behind it. with Igbinosun because I do think that our major problem in the playoffs almost every year is that we get thin or beat up at corner. Max got hurt multiple times last year. Benford is not always healthy as either. CB3's played plenty. Guys need breaks, things like that. There are games where one of our guys is likely going to be hurt. He's going to come in and start. I looked at Igbinosun this way. When I kind of went back and researched who was available and why he would trade up for it, because I didn't like the trade up more than anything else, right? I thought that was it wasn't an egregious trade up, but it was definitely why? But corners he's right. Corners went. We had Hood, Terrell, Pons, Cisse, all better players than him, go in the previous 10 picks, 15 picks before. Then it was down to Igbinosun, Dakario Davis, and however you think of Dalen Everett, and maybe Julian Neal. After that,
Malik Muhammad and Devin Moore. I like both of those guys a lot.
I don't like him
I wouldn't want
as him.
Devin Moore's tape.
In my opinion, Devin
Moore's tape is comparable or better, but the issue is I didn't want Devin Moore behind I wouldn't say injury prone, two cornerbacks who got injured with Devin Moore's injury history. Sure. I'd rather kind of stick with a non. But I agree. I mean, I'm biased on Julian Neal, but other than that,
and I'm biased on Devin Moore. So
yeah, my apologies, Miley.
Isn't Neal more of a tweener slot?
No,
or is he boundary?
No, Julian Neal 6'2", 202 with over 32-inch arms with a 4.49. He's a big dude, but he may. The only caveat is Davison is 100% boundary. Julian Neal might have trouble boundary and have to push inside.
Sure. Yeah, so I think that, to me, I don't think it's an egregious decision to pick him. I mean, whether you like him as the next best corner or within that group of those three guys that the three of us mentioned, right? This is the one that Bean liked. He compares him in some ways to Joey Porter Jr. That's the kind of player he wanted, I guess. Kind of a physical press corner, good athletic measurables. Those things are there. What y'all's grade on this one before we move on?
C-.
I'll go B-.
One thing I will say, though, is while he kind of looks like he's cut from the same cloth with McDermott when it comes to defensive line, he has attacked secondary completely different than McDermott with the Igbinosun drafting, the Kilgore pick, and also the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson signing, the Geno Stone signing. I bet you if McDermott was still head coach, none of those four players would be on the team.
I agree. 100% agree. I think the only thing that Igbinosun that I had mocked him other than the penalties is when he runs, his arms are stiff, and it drives me nuts. If you watch him run, it looks like he doesn't know what to do with his arms. And that's why I was like,
did he do 3-cone?
No, that's everything he did on the combine. So he didn't do agility.
You already flipped. Okay, I said you flipped it over. That's why I was asking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, no, I don't know. That's Bowery.
Yeah,
Let's see. He did just vert and broad.
Just vert and broad. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, he probably would have been okay, but he does look a little stiff to me on tape as well.
Yeah.
And the Kyer Elam boxing glove thing. That's the scariest part for me. I give it a B. I'll give it I value what it is in the depth at corner, so I'm going to say B+.
Yeah, and we shouldn't be surprised call it what it is, but Brandon Bean said our biggest need was cornerback. Debatable, clearly debatable.
Depth-wise, it was.
But depth-wise, it was.
That's the only reason, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we had starters in place, but...
Yeah. When we went offensive line, we got mammoth people, which I do love personally. Mm-hmm. And Jude Bowery is a dog. I'm curious. He can punt. He can push inside, which if he needs to for the first year. So if he wants to compete with Alec Anderson for the left guard spot and entertain the idea of taking Osiris Torrance's spot at right guard the next year, that is possible. Mm-hmm. He might be a tackle in itself, but the ability to push in guard is why I like this pick. And there was also tackle runs happening around this area.
Yeah. And I would say, go ahead.
My thought is look at the Pittsburgh game last year. That's the exact reason why this pick makes sense. Mm-hmm. We have two elite starting tackles. They both got injured. We went on the road against a playoff team in a hostile environment and ran it down their throats. because we had depth at tackle with Vandermark, and then we had Anderson who was able to play out there. And I think because of that, taking a tackle makes a lot of sense. Him being able to play guard is also, I think, important. I think until Dawkins is gone, he'll probably move inside while he continues to trying to develop as a tackle. He'll play as guard. And then when Dawkins, in probably 2 years, maybe unless he signs another contract, is gone, Bowery can kind of slide out and be that starting tackle while you kind of rebuild the offensive line down the road like that.
Yeah, I think Bean also values like thresholds when it comes to arm length and height, weight, speed, athleticism. I mean, he ran a 5.08 40 at 314. That's really good.
Yeah.
Like his vertical is better than Miami's first receiver they took.
Yeah. For real though, 34.5 for that big man is impressive. And jumping 9 feet.
That's crazy. I mean, that's not like the guy from Nigeria or whatever. There's like 305 and 6% body fat, but this is really freaking good.
Yeah. 24 bench with 34-inch arms too.
Great. That's
great.
Yeah, that's great. Like tackles with this long arms don't bench 24 times. I mean, I guess they can't. They do if they're good. If they're strong.
Right.
But yeah, I personally like the player. There may have been better tackles available potentially, but not by much, and without as much versatility as he has. So like the way I view it as well is like this is more hedging on the bet that if Dion takes a step back, he's another option outside of Grable to eventually take the spot. He's also hedging on Torrance if we don't re-sign him, and the fact that we have an opening at left guard. He'll compete there most likely as well. If he's clearly the best, I bet you he wins it, right? It'd be nice to have he's got guard size as well. Like he's not too tall. Like, 6'4.5" is adequate for height for tackle and guard. You know what I mean? Like he's not too short for tackle and he's not too tall to play guard. So, this feels that way to me. And they've done a really good job of finding good offensive linemen. And I trust them with that, right? Other than Cody Ford, right? But
Cody Ford is funny enough the highest drafted lineman we have.
Yeah, but Cody Ford has a job still.
Right, which is insane. I don't even get
where.
Which it can't be, I think still in the Bengals.
Bengals, right? Still on the Bengals?
Still there.
Yeah. That makes me feel better.
So he's good enough to play in this league for 6 years. You know what I mean? So he's not that bad of a pick. We just didn't want to have the patience to develop him because we wanted him to hit the ground running, and we were kept playing with his position a lot. He was still a bad pick, but this is they've done a good job. Spencer Brown, whatever you think of Osiris Torrance, he's a good player. He's not awesome, but he's a good player.
Spencer Brown was incredible value. Insane value.
They went out and handpicked David Edwards and Connor McGovern, and they both worked out well. Those are the same thing. Is still scouting involved with that, and scouting involved with moving a guy from guard to center like they did with McGovern. So I trust them in this scenario, and I think that this could be like, I think it's Dion Dawkins' watch time on not him getting cut or traded. That won't happen, but just like there's pressure on him a little bit now with 2 young guys on rookie deals behind him.
Yeah.
That if they show up and he has another not bad year. He didn't have a bad year, but if he has another year where he gives up more sacks than he's ever given up in his career, we could be talking a different conversation next year potentially, as long as we get to see enough of these guys. So, I thought the pick was like a solid B.
I give it a
B minus.
Yeah, I mean it's a solid B just because this is a true, like the other guys will play.
Right.
He might not. And that's when we talk about impact. This is truly a potential play a little bit this year, but future player, also a backup plan in case somebody gets hurt. The other guys will get play time no matter if somebody gets hurt or not in some form.
Yeah, you're right. Agreed.
Yep.
All right.
This guy.
Everybody's favorite.
Best pick of the draft.
All right. I would have taken him at 62.
Okay.
I looked at the receivers that were available at the time. I liked him more than all the receivers that were left on the board as far as a complete player goes. They keep comparing him to Shakir. I don't agree with that. I think that the yards after the catch stuff makes people think that, but like he has much longer arms. He's got way more vertical speed. His release packages are better than his. His overall route running is better. He's a better separator than Shakir is, even at this juncture of their careers. Now, how that translates, I don't know, but from what I see on tape, it's better than that. And he just doesn't have as many deficiencies. Shakir truly is like, you can't move him out of the slot for real. Like they say it, you can't. He's a nothing. He becomes an irrelevant player when you put him on the boundary. That's not this. I like him way closer to a Diggs type of player than I do a Shakir type player. If Diggs wasn't afraid to go yards after the catch, it would look a little bit like this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, his deceleration is Stephon Diggs. His crossers, the way he comes across the crossers, and then he uses his arm to create separation at the stem.
Yep.
Very Stephon Diggs. Late hands, very Stephon Diggs. So I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm surprised that people don't use the size is very similar. You know, he actually has 31-inch arms is pretty good for a 5'11" guy. It's not short. He's an excellent athlete. Like he's a better athlete than Diggs ever was. The scary parts of this is why he's in round 4 is not because he's a round 4 value. He's a late second value probably on most people's boards as they get pushed down throughout the draft while his centers and tight ends and all this weird stuff happening. Some guys get lost in translation a little bit, and there was like 40 receivers taken, right? So his main problem for me is like he had good games against Boston College, Syracuse, high-level D1, mid-tier D-level, D1 program. So he's not just playing like Coastal Carolina every week, right? Or was it Central Carolina or whatever? But, there is some of that there where like a lot of his games are against teams that are, better than FCS schools. But like, he's playing a lot of JMU tier teams, you know what I mean? Like on that level. Same problem with Ted Hurst, by the way. He's playing those type of teams. Although that's worse competition than UConn is an independent school. So they play good teams occasionally here and there. So
for sure.
But his movement, like he's saying here, the way he glides in the middle of the field, his routes looks like that. Yeah, he is really effortless and smooth. Shakir's more herky jerky than him. They just don't look alike on the field. I think it's a lazy comp. It's a lazy comp. It's a lazy comp. Just because they're both good at yak.
Yeah.
Well, the same people same people that are saying that Bell is like Shakir are also the same
Bell.
people that are saying they hate Boston because he's Keon Coleman.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And they
right,
don't
like two
Bell,
two opposite people. Yeah, two opposite people. Yeah.
There's some guys that just don't like Bell, like the underdog fantasy guys. They don't like Bell.
Yeah.
But they're underdog fantasy. I don't really trust their opinion on like scouting players very, very much. They try to compare him to Sky Moore and Jalen Royal.
Sky Moore is terrible.
Yeah, Sky Moore's
They don't like him.
He had a good Senior Bowl. That's it.
Oh, and Zay Jones was the third one they comped him to. So like, what are we doing here? They're nothing alike. Him and Zay Jones are nothing alike.
Yeah, no, Zay Jones is more like a bigger body, non-separator,
and can't get yak at all. So it's just lazy comping. Shakir also is way better at his contact balance and taking hits. Like the one thing's with Skyler, he gets hit, he doesn't really keep going. He's not going to keep doing it. And that's why he's more similar to Diggs, because Diggs will just go to the ground.
I'm with you.
But it's an A+ pick.
Yeah,
for sure. I think we all agree on that.
Completely made up for the Igbinosa pick.
It made up for that. It also made up for the fact that of the last couple of years of the way that they went about getting receivers, they would get the right type of receiver in free agency, but not in the draft. And they finally went and got the right type of receiver in the draft that they can develop on their own, who has high upside. I mean, he's probably wide receiver 2 upside is what we're looking at.
I agree.
Which allows us to be able to get cheaper at the position.
And that's the other. Yeah, thank you, Miley. That's the other thing. I've been wanting to get super cheap at this position for a long time. We have too many mid-tier contracts in the wide receiver room. It's too much. It's making our room expensive, and it shouldn't be.
Yep.
Yep.
This was my second favorite pick of the draft, while TJ Parker was number 3. But I love Caleb Elam-Zor. I think he can be the Mike. I think he can do off ball as well. He's got 4.47 speed at his weight at 234.
Yep.
159 10-yard split. What I love about Caleb Elam-Zor is he's still a little bit of a project. So I expect Buffalo to sign Shaq Thompson.
Sure.
And I do think that he's going to sit behind. The only thing that Caleb Elam-Zor needs to get down and learn is that he actually is smarter than he thinks. And that's one unfortunate and more athletic. Is when Caleb Elam-Zor is at the linebacker position, he immediately, once it's snapped, he goes, I need to come down and tackle. But he's so athletic and he's so good in coverage that first step sometimes can get him beat. All somebody needs to do is coach him into making sure he watches tape, getting down his technique, but just taking a half a second to process and go. Because he can cover, he can rush the passer, and he can defend the run. He can scrape. He can shoot gaps and he can stack and shed. He just needs to be able to take a second and process. And we literally, in my eyes, have a 8-year linebacker, Matt Milano guy in our building that will play for 8 years for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love the pick. Absolutely amazing pick. I would give it an A. I thought he was someone that was kind of like a late 3, early 4, and we got him late 4.
Mm-hmm.
What is it though with like Brandon Beane? It's like day 2 he drafts for like depth and kind of goes a little niche, but in day 3 he's just like, screw that. I'm gonna go the best player available at every pick, and we'll figure it out after that. And day 3 he's like the greatest drafter of all time. Like day 2 he has historically not been great. I mean,
they are asking
Spencer Brown, Torrance, Bishop, and Cook, all studs. After that, his day 2 picks are rough.
Yeah.
But then day 3, he gets hits like Deion Walker and Christian Bensford and Khalil Shakir every single year, outside of 2023, where he got no value from day 3. Every other year, he's gotten good value out of day 3 because he drafts like this.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to get as much value as he can out of these late days, because usually if you don't do that and you just go after a position that you need, you're likely going to overdraft guys who shouldn't be there. Drafting guys in the 4th round that should be a 6th-round pick, like the Miami Dolphins.
He does that day 2 though, which is so weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think his strategy, like, this is A+ for me, by the way. I thought he was the best linebacker left on the board for sure.
100%.
Oh yeah.
Unless you count Kyle Lewis, who's not really a linebacker that we want.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to play him at linebacker in Miami, but
which is crazy.
Not a fit. He's 220. They were talking about him when they're in the presser yesterday. They were asking Beane, like, he's not that much bigger than the 222-pound Bernard. I'm like, 234 and 222 is a big difference. 12 pounds, 234. He's right solidly in normal linebacker size. We have a guy who's listed at 222 that probably plays at 210. You know what I mean? Like, you can't convince me he weighs 220. And, this guy's a much larger, better athlete than any of our linebackers. Actually, Dorian Williams is a pretty good athlete too, but I think he's better.
He can't cover.
He's pigeonholed into one job.
Just being an attack player, right?
Right.
He just goes head first. This is a player that could start for us eventually. I think Shaq Thompson is a perfect person to teach him how to play football.
All day. Like all freaking day.
Perfect comp. I mean, I would actually comp them very similarly in like what they do, except he's a better athlete. And we've always needed at least 2 linebackers. The other reason I have A+ on this is because I look at the guys drafted ahead of him at linebacker, and man, like, the value of linebacker to me is right in this range, right in the middle of the draft for the value of the position. And I'm looking at these guys. I mean, Sonny Styles is elite. Rodriguez is going to be elite, probably just because his mental is there, right? But then, like, is Josiah Trotter, CJ Allen, and Jimmy Rolder, Wade Woodaz, are they miles ahead of him? Like, no.
Oh my God, Wade Woodaz
way behind
crazy. Him. I had a UDFA on Wade Woodaz.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, he got drafted 3 picks before.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man. And the other cool part was being clearly the meetings matter. Elanzor, Bell, not Parker.
But we didn't meet with Parker. For some reason, I thought we did.
I don't think we did, because he was like introducing himself to Parker in the video I saw. So I was like,
if we didn't meet with him, then that's like the first time ever being drafted. His first pick, he didn't meet with.
They met him off campus.
Clemson was the highest scouted school in 2024. And I'm sure that he got a lot of info in 2024, and then maybe we missed a Zoom call or something. But I'm sure they did enough work on him in 2020, which is also a good sign for TJ Parker, because they scouted him in the year that we want him, right? So they watched the tape that we hope TJ Parker will be.
Absolutely. Yep. And then I think you're right. I think the coverage upside is there. I think the one thing I did see somebody mentioned that he had some missed tackle issue.
Parker?
No, Parker's fine.
Elanzor?
He has 7% missed tackle rate last year. This year was his first starting year, so I didn't do a 2-year.
Okay, maybe that was it. Yeah. Maybe it was before this year is what it was.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have any concerns. I've watched enough of him to know like what he is as a player. I don't see it like a missed tackle.
Yeah, dog.
Or anything like that. Yeah, he's
Absolute dog.
exactly. So
Yep.
I'll give us an A+ as well.
Yeah.
Another A plus.
Oh god, yeah.
Another A+.
This is my
This is
second
the
favorite pick of the draft. This is my second
same.
favorite.
This is mine too.
Fellas first
And-
for obvious reasons. But this
Yep.
is number 2.
Yeah, I agree. And the reason I like this so much is because I think the Bills look like they're trying to create their own Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer type safety duo where you have both players can play both positions. You can throw them both at free safety. You can throw them both at strong safety. But you have one you kind of prefer. Like, it looks like Cole Bishop, after this year, probably moves into the free safety Micah Hyde role. Kilgore will come in and be that Poyer box. And I think both of them can tackle. They both can come down. They're both playmakers. You can blitz them. They can really kind of do everything. And I thought Kilgore was going to go in like the 3rd round, and we got him in the 5th. And funny enough, though, PFF, I was looking through like all my old mock drafts I did in the offseason. I had a stake in Kilgore at pick 143, like I think maybe like a month or 2 ago on a mock draft I did. So it's kind of funny that I actually got that pretty close to being right.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. I think this is like them hedging on like I think they thought Hancock could be a developmental safety, and I think he scared them off last year a little bit. And they wanted to take another swing with it. There's another call I made. People were like, "We're going to take safety early, still an option." No, it was always going to be a day 3 thing. We got a bunch of dudes in the room. We don't need a safety, but getting a developmental guy is important. And this is the one that can really be an interchangeable safety with Bishop. And the fact that they're saying it outright right now that he's a safety, they did not do that with Hancock last year. They said we had a plan with Hancock. With him, they're like, he's a safety, which means to me, they're like, go learn from CJ Gardner-Johnson. We want you to be that kind of player. He has the athleticism to do whatever he wants. He's probably better suited in the box. But
Kilgore?
yeah, but he can do that. He can go everywhere, just like Bishop. Like he's a very similar kind of player to Bishop.
For sure. I don't my knock for him, which I think is maybe, I don't know. It doesn't, first of all, he shouldn't have fell this way. His knock for not being in, because we got John Green 23 on my board. The reason I didn't have him in the 1st or 2nd round is that in the slot, playing in the nickel, flipping his hips and then accelerating is an issue. So somebody like Kenyon Sadiq, who is taller than him and runs fast, he doesn't have, he can't flip the hips and go. Too many people get separations on those seam routes. That's why I think he's not a nickel and why he's a safety. But this guy is 4'4" at 6'1", 210, range in the center field. You get CJ GJ to teach him his range, that athleticism. Whew.
Yeah, I think
it's over.
I think he's like, go ahead. Sorry, man.
I was just going to quickly say the knock about him not being able to flip his hips too much and cover like athletic tight ends like that doesn't scare me off because Cole Bishop's great at that.
Bingo.
Yeah, and also I think that's part of the reason he fell because a lot of the sites had him listed as a corner. And a nickel corner is not going to be as valuable as a safety most likely because it's more of a niche role that some teams don't even really deploy that often. So I think part of it was just not knowing what to do with him because his coach Beamer was going to put him at safety this year if he came back, and that's clearly his better suited role based on how he moves. And I think that at the end of the day, like when we see that, we're drafting him, maybe where other guys are overlooking him for true safeties that are always a safety, like Genesis Smith or somebody like that. You know, we're looking at him as a projection, which is what the draft is, right? So I'm glad he's looking at it as a projection because with these numbers and the type of player he is, I mean, he's going to be really good at being that interchangeable piece with Cole Bishop eventually. I thought he was a 3rd round value if you move him to safety. Yeah, just because safeties don't usually go super high, but it's an A+ for me. That was my 2nd favorite pick by far.
Yeah. 6 pressures, 3 QB hits too. Something that Leonard is going to do is send their DBs to hit the quarterback.
Yep. Derwin James light.
Yep.
Yeah,
I like this. I like this pick. I still would have preferred a nose tackle. Clearly, they don't. I'm going to continue to prefer. I'm going to continue to prefer a nose tackle every single year, like I have every single year in the past. I just want it. I think it's extremely valuable. Bills clearly don't. I see the plan they have. But anyways, for Durant, I mean, it's a dart throw. Nothing more. He's got some juice. He's got some upside. But he's kind of a dart throw depth piece. We need to get deeper at the defensive line with the injuries that happen there. And I think he's someone that's going to be battling for a roster spot. I doubt he plays too much this year. Like, even if he makes the roster, he's probably going to be like the guy who's the game day inactive type of guy. But I think he can develop into being a juice depth piece. Dart throw at the 6th round. I can't really hate that.
I kind of see
I
him.
agree.
I kind of see him as like a Ed Oliver light. I mean, he's TJ. TJ Sanders plays a lot differently than Ed Oliver does. He's less violent.
Right.
This guy's violent for sure. Right. He needs refinement as a pass rusher. I think he's gonna be really good against the run when he does get to play. I think we're tired of players like Ed Oliver getting hurt and then not having a good, at least guy can hold it down a little bit. So I think he's useful. I don't, like you said, I think more of like a game day inactive player, unless something happens and Oliver gets hurt again, because he's almost 1-for-1 in size with Oliver. He may even have longer arms. Ran the fastest 40 of any defensive tackle at the combine.
Yeah. I would say, like, I don't think he needs to necessarily, like, he needs to work on his pass rush. But the way he's going to figure out is he's just got to take his strengths and then make them more stronger, if you will. Yeah. Because I don't know how much he's going to be able to counter in his size profile with 31-inch arms and only 290 at 6'1", so it'll be tough. But what he does best is his first step is so explosive that he gets the leverage on that inside shoulder and then just uses his strength past it. He was on Feldman's freak list 2 years in a row because he's squatting – whatever the number is, he's leg pressing whatever the number is. So if he gains the first step leverage on any guard, his weight doesn't matter because then he's so strong enough he can just push through, and then that's where he gets all his tackles for losses when it comes down to that. So that's what you're looking for. So if he could just strengthen up, you're looking at Denver Broncos having like John Franklin Myers, right? Like how can you turn him into John Franklin Myers? Sort of like work through that, get through that, be that guy, and that's where he can. If he can overcome that, which I think he can, then we're talking about competition and first world problems, if you will, right? TJ Sanders is not like you need to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Because we invested the TJ Sanders investment
is a lot.
It's a lot why they avoided doing anything else in addition to Dion. But I hope it works out. I do. I'm not a big fan of the player. I wasn't last year when we took him. I thought it was weird.
Me too.
A falling player that didn't really fit what we need to do. It doesn't really. It's weird. He's just not. He's a good pass rusher for a defensive tackle in college, but he's definitely not like this like violent, super strong player at the point of attack. I think he gets washed out a lot. I don't know. I hope it works. This might be a hedge on that. It might also be a hedge on Ed Oliver when he's gone in another year or two, potentially, that this guy could develop. And, hey, we don't need this, like, this super, because Ed Oliver's an elite pass rusher from the 3-tech when he's healthy,
I agree.
Maybe they don't feel that way, or maybe he can turn into that. I don't know. This for me was like a C+ pick. I kind of was hoping that to be when we saw D tackle on the screen, I immediately ran and I was like, wait a second, I'd forgotten who he was. So I had to go.
There's like a bucket of guys, and he was my top of it. It was like Caleb Proctor, Landon Robinson, who are the other guys? LT Overton, and like Danny Dennis Sutton, and then Zane Durant. And Zane Durant was the top of my list out of those 5 guys.
So you really liked him.
So Holton.
Yeah, I did not like Danny Dennis Sutton or anything.
Grayson Holton or whatever.
Yeah.
No, he went before him, of course. But they're a similar, like, he's a more refined version of this, I think.
Yes.
And we got him, I think, 80 picks later.
Right.
I don't think there's that much of a gap between those two players. I think Holton's better, but I don't think there's like this massive, like, wide gap. They both need work. If you want that type of player and you miss out on Holton, I mean, Durant's a good consolation price.
I agree.
All right, let's go here. I liked this pick, but I had to learn more about him because I didn't do much on him. Randall, what's your take on him as a player? Like, can he play boundary? Because I'm hearing mixed results. I know he played boundary in college, but
Oh, he can play boundary.
Does
He
he?
definitely can play. Yeah, he can play boundary for sure. He can play inside a little bit, but I expect him to be boundary with his size. 31-inch arms is just as fine for a cornerback, but that 4.32 1.51 split is great. He's got a 37.5 vertical. He's got explosion, and he ran. The 3-cone was suspect, so that's where that inside slot with a high IQ and you be able to go left laterally is where I don't think he plays in the slot. But I mean, he is a good player. He's just a project that you kind of got to figure out. Where he does his worst work, which is unfortunate, is in the first 5 yards. At the stem, he gets bit on double moves a lot. He does not trust his recovery speed to handle it, so he tries to guess what route it is at the stem. And that's pretty much the number one issue. And then he can just get coached out of that. But if you look, when he does kind of bail, when he gets it wrong, you can see his recovery speed, and his recovery speed is very impressive. So he can handle it. Somebody's just got to give him the confidence to be able to understand, just be technical and methodical in your back pedal to the stem, and then just go from there, sort of thing. And that's how you fix him.
Yeah, I thought it was a good 7th round dart throw. A lot of places had him as like a 5th or 6th round pick. He got extreme speed and athleticism. We need, even after getting Igbinosa, we still needed more CB depth. Personally, I would go and sign maybe like Trey White, and then you just carry 5 boundary corners on the roster, so you don't end up with Dane Jackson. That's kind of, we're all so scared of the Dane Jackson reoccurring nightmare that it sits in our heads. So this way, that's not going to happen.
Agreed.
Yeah, I kind of agree. The speed is enticing. He's very similar size to Max Harrison, if you think about it.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, similar weight.
Yeah.
And Harrison's a little taller. Arm length, similar speed. Harrison's a little faster, but it doesn't really matter. I'm talking about 4.29 and 4.32.
Right.
Yeah, I just didn't know much about him other than when I saw him at the combine when he was like flying. So I think that for 7th round dart, this is like good as it gets.
It's an A.
Yep.
It's an
It's an
A.
A plus pick.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he was touted through high school. He committed to Clemson, then transferred out. So he's been a dog since high school. So.
Yeah, plays in the boundary. I mean, we need more boundary depth. I side with Miley on that. We're probably I don't know if it's Trey White this time, but I think they're bringing in somebody. There's a lot of corners, boundary corners on the free agency market that I looked at earlier. So I think one's coming, and I think it's a linebacker and a corner we'll sign. And then call it a day. But that's kind of. I mean,
there might be more though. Think about it. We do have like 13 million cap space, and what this draft is going to take away, -4 because trading out of the first round. Yeah, we added more picks, but most of those picks are pretty close to the $1 million-ish cap line we already have for it being top 51.
Yep.
So it's those players aren't really adding; they're really taking away cap space. We probably saved it's not a lot, but like 500 to 700K in the quick rough math that I did. I kind of looked at it and did like rough math estimation, and we probably saved about 500 to 700K projected in cap space. And so we're probably going to be sitting at like 8 or 9 mil. Shaq in the corner are probably going to cost maybe 4 or 5 mil combined. So we have money maybe in season to spend, but we probably will have like 4 to 5 mil to mess around with.
Sounds like Shaq's not getting the offers he wants either, based on his comments on Twitter. So
which is fine. Just come back to Buffalo.
Show another year of you being able to play well and play healthy, because I think people are still too scared to commit because of injuries.
He's getting
old. And he's old.
Exactly.
I'll say this too before we get to this one too. With Pride, he's also kind of a hedge on Dorian Strong, I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
all day.
I know he's there in the neck brace, man. Being in a neck brace, I don't see there's any chance of him playing this year.
Me too.
No,
there's just no shot. Tyler Shavers isn't playing either. So
agreed.
They're both not going to play. It's a hedge on that. Maybe we've caught lightning in a bottle. Christian Benford, Dorian Strong. Maybe he's the next one, right?
Agreed.
You can even say Dane Jackson and Levi Wallace. I mean, there's other guys. We hit these late guys.
Other teams wanted them after they played their dues in Buffalo. They got picked up. They didn't get dropped.
9 careers. Yep. Dame's probably the worst of the bunch, but
we got
to still.
I know.
I mean, he's playing 6 years in the league now, 5 years. So
but
all right. I love this pick too.
It was a good. It was a good value.
Another dart
value pick. It's another dart throw. He's kind of similar to Osiris Torrance when it comes down to it. They're both stiff. He's very stiff. So the first thing that he's going to have to do is take all of next year, because he probably won't start. Jude Bowery would beat him out in that left guard spot for Alec Anderson. He just needs to get a little bit more flexible, do yoga for a year. He's just too stiff in his. Yeah, he's too stiff in his in everything, to be honest with you. But he is a mammoth of a human being, and what Buffalo does with offensive linemen, I trust that Buffalo's going to get it done to where he can be a viable starter next year. Next year will be a lot of fun to figure out what our offensive line is going to look like.
He's very it could be a hedge on Torrance in some ways. The one thing about him I noticed is, like, before I looked at his height weight profile, watched him at the combine. He looks heavier than that. So which means his body
for sure.
His body
for
comes
sure.
off, right? Being 6'5", 314, he should look leaner than he does. Which is part of, flexibility and core strength and things like that. It's just not there yet, I don't think. He's a powerful dude. He's similar to Torrance, less good, of course. But I mean, if he performs well, there could be a roster spot for him with our guard room. I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I think he is the least likely person to make the team. But he could be on the cusp. Like, this is an interesting draft that Beans put together with a punter coming up next. That we got 10 players. I mean, I could see a world where they all make the team, which is
for sure. We could roster, Miley. How many do you think we could roster if let's say we had unlimited picks?
10. I don't think there'd be any other way you'd be able to. Maybe a linebacker if you weren't bringing in Shaq, but they're bringing in a couple of veterans, so 10.
Right.
And I think that would be if this guy beats out Corbett. I think they're probably battling for the spot. Anderson's pretty safe to make a guard spot or to make the team. Jude Bowery, I think, is pretty safe to make the team. So it's probably like, who's that other guard? It's probably between this guy and Corbett, which makes sense. You get the dart throw day 3 guy and the veteran who's been around places before and has shown the ability to start.
So I've got in the guard, I've got how many guys are going to definitely make the team, right? I've got 21 deep offensive players and 22 defensive players, right? So that in three special teams, right? So that leaves about 6 players most likely, right? And that's if some of these other guys, like, I think Chase Lunton and Travis Clayton are just like, Lunt could get outright cut because of Bowery, right?
I think Travis Clayton still has another year with the practice squad exemption. They're going to use that.
He'll be on the practice squad,
for sure.
Unless he just develops out the ass and they're like, dude, this guy's an awesome left guard. But I see Torrance, Alec Anderson, and Corbett as guarantees.
I don't think Corbett is.
Oh, really? I think he's.
I think Bowery is. I mean, look at Corbett's contract. It's like 1.2 mil, and there's no guarantees. And we took Bowery at the 101. There's no way we're cutting Bowery. I think he's safe.
He's safe.
Corbett. And I don't see a world where we keep 4 guards.
You're gonna run with. Oh, okay. So you think we're keeping 3 guards?
That's what we've done in years past.
Or 5 tackles.
4 tackles, and I think 9 linemen.
So we're only carrying 7.
Well, 9 linemen because 2 centers.
Right.
Or 10 linemen, I thought.
Okay. So 1 less than normal. The 1 less than I said.
Yeah.
4 tackles, 3 guards, 2
10's
centers.
The number that you can carry more guys on the 48-man instead of the 46-man roster on game day. I think is the rule. Well, my thing is this: I think Corbett is a better player than Alec Anderson.
Oh, okay. I don't. So.
Oh, okay. And just in the previous, I don't know enough. Alec could be better. I just don't know enough about him yet because we don't see him regularly playing left guard all the time. We see him
whenever he's on the field, he plays well.
Right, but if he's playing as a 6 offensive lineman, that's different than playing left guard constantly throughout the game. He's usually like the quasi tight end on the other side. So that's my only thing. I like Alec. I just don't know enough about what he looks like as a starter full time versus Corbett, who I've seen. Right.
I think Corbett.
I
think Corbett makes the roster. I'm just saying he's the one that's most likely to get cut. And that would be for the guy we just drafted.
Okay.
I think they're battling. I think Corbett wins it and he ends up on the practice squad. I'm just saying if this guy makes it, I think it's because Corbett gets cut then.
So you think okay? So
Agreed.
what's the tackle room look like then to you?
Dawkins,
Walk.
Brown, Bowery, and Grable.
And then you're running with Torrance, Alec,
Torrance, Alec, Corbett, or this guy, and then
Oh,
McGovern
you
and
think Armage Reed Adams could beat him out?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The battle is between Armage and Corbett. I think Corbett wins it, but
Sure.
I think that's the battle.
Okay. And then Chase Lunt's kind of an out.
Chaitlon's no,
I
Caught
don't want him on the. I don't want Lunt.
Yeah.
playing, but
We don't even need Lund in the practice squad. Put Travis Clayton in the practice squad. You might as well. You have the free spot for him with the exemption for this year. You might as well keep trying to develop him. And then the centers will just be McGovern and Cushenberry. And I think you can hopefully flip Cedric Van Prangrager with one of the 2 7s we have into a 6th. And then hopefully we can do that twice. We have 2 7s. Hopefully we can do 2 6-7 swaps before cut day and increase our 2027 arsenal.
I thought Armage Reed Adams to me was more like a late 5th round value that we ended.
I think he was.
Yeah, I like the pick.
All our day 3 picks were value. All average.
all of our picks
I guess
were
maybe
high
Tommy
value.
Dolman.
I know Igbinosun.
But he's a
playing
decent
value.
punter we got in the end of the 7th round.
Yeah, he's probably the best punter in the draft. We got him right after Baltimore took the other guy who I don't like as much. I thought Igbinosun was probably the closest thing to saying we didn't get the appropriate value, but we got a late second. He's probably an early 3rd round value, and you could argue he's a top 60 pick. I mean, for some people, like based on who was left, and if you need a corner, he's your style of corner. I don't see any problem with it. I think it's appropriate value, although you could argue that it's a little bit high, but not way high.
Yeah, agreed.
Top 7.
We drafted and then we drafted a punter, which one thing that I was surprised at, why wouldn't you at the combine, when it comes to punters and kickers, measure their leg length than their arm length?
I don't know. Is there a
pendulum, right?
Between
I don't know. Yeah, pendulum, right? Longer legs and leg speed, makes it go faster, in my opinion. But
if you have shorter legs, your legs should be able to turn around quicker, right?
True. Yeah, I don't know. See, now we got to do science. It's got to.
There's got to be science behind it. Yeah, they'll start doing it eventually.
Yeah.
Is he better than Stonehouse? Yes.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, is he? I'm not sure. I didn't do special teams.
We brought Stonehouse in because he's a local kid, or local because he went to go to Syracuse. I don't know if he's local or not, but I think it was an easy thing to do. Stonehouse did not get drafted, I don't believe.
No, he didn't. Wait.
There's only 2.
He went late. He almost went. Maybe he didn't. Maybe
I think it's just 2 punters went. That's when I looked at it.
Yeah. But 2025 is impressive. Only a 14% return rate at only 7.1 yards per return is impressive.
You're saying he went to Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Well, he signed, but he didn't get drafted.
Okay.
No. There's 2 punters, Ryan Eckley and Tommy Doman. I'm looking at it right now. No kickers. Oh, one kicker. Sorry.
Trace Mack.
Yeah.
Trace Mack. Yeah, I know.
But we got our Florida
Green Bay,
pipeline
right?
with
Green
Doman.
Bay.
So
Green Bay.
got him.
Yeah, exactly. Dang.
Yeah,
Florida.
Bass is going to be the starting kicker for us this year.
Yeah, he will.
Hopefully not next year though, because his cap hits over $5 million next year, and we're already projected $30 million over cap space. So him and Josh Palmer, among a few others, are already early 2027 cut candidates.
So 17 of 50 punts he had last year were inside the 20. 44 yards.
I think Doman, his I guess I was reading up a little bit. His known thing is his punts have really good hang time.
Yeah.
Nice. I got 2 texts.
Led the
I got
league
2
hang time, 4.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just he doesn't have as much power replacement, but
there it
you're
is.
not going to be able to return as much on him.
Yeah. I got 2 texts when this was drafted. Both of them said that he will be a Pro Bowler, which for punters is impressive.
Sure.
So they're like, he is destined to be a Pro Bowler. I took that as a great pick and then just went on my day.
Yeah.
I didn't really do much work on punters, especially when you have Josh Allen.
This is A+. Yeah, to me,
Yeah, sure.
The only vice is to give you kind of maybe a devil's advocate is Wisnowski's not a great punter. We know that, but he's not bad.
Yeah,
and he's
not
a
bad.
holder. We like him for a holder. So those are important to us, and we don't need freaking punt god to kick 90 yards because that doesn't happen for us very often. So the flip field, but we can do better. And if he's that kind of level player, then hey, let's go for it. I would rather improve kicker, but this draft was not great in the kicker department. So I don't mind it. I think he's got a chance to make the team. I think they're trying to play lip service to Wisnowski, saying they're going to compete. Wisnowski is not a veteran member of this team.
Right.
We're not talking about Trey White here. We're talking about a guy who showed up last year, right? Maybe he was the squad before that, practice squad before that. But we're not talking about a guy that like has like any tenure with the squad that has any kind of pull. So I give us an A+. What's your overall draft grade now that we're kind of in this level here?
B+, just because we didn't get a nose tackle. Don't care that they don't value it. I do, and not getting a nose tackle made it impossible for me to be able to give it an A.
Okay, Randall.
I give it a B+ as well for different reasons. I guess we're not gonna run nose tackles, which is so unfortunate. So I'm just gonna like get that out of my head apparently, which I've tried.
Oh, I have. I'm just saying.
For the past 5 years,
I have to give it bad grade for it.
Yeah. No. I know. I'm not. By the way, I don't mean you, like me personally, because every year I'm like, okay, when are we gonna take a nose tackle? So I think this might be my final year where I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna do a lot of research on. I watched like 15 nose tackles this year. Such a waste of time. So I won't do that again. I'll give it a B+. Skylar Bell, amazing. Caleb Elam-Zor, amazing. TJ Parker, great. Kilgore, great. Everything. So yeah, B+.
I get an A-. I liked it a little bit more because I didn't think he would do a D tackle. I was hoping for it. I want it too, but I think that they did the things that I went into this draft going, man, if they just trade back and accumulate assets, and he did that in spades, that was the first step for me. It was like, okay, you're starting at A+, you know?
I agree with that.
Then the first two picks were surprises, but they weren't. After kind of understanding the rationale and the players, I really like TJ Parker. I understand Igbinosun. I think that's, going to be hard for me to call him IGB. I like to say his name. I think it's, I'm never going to say it right, but I still want to say it.
I never say IGB. I just text it out because it's
it's easier to say.
I'm gonna say IGB. I love it.
Yeah, and then I thought that the most surprising was the offensive tackle, and that's the only one that I can see that's like, if he makes the team, that he's probably not going to have much of a immediate impact unless he just wins the left guard spot. I'm not convinced that they don't have that idea for him. They brought it up before anyone else did that he could play guard. I wonder if he comes in and outperforms those guys and go, well, we didn't expect this, but he's going to win the job. All of a sudden Alec Anderson has to take a step back again, which I would be unfortunate for him. Because I like him. And then Skylar Bell he killed it. Kilgore killed it. Elarms-Orr killed it. Like, I like the guard pick in the 7th. The punter pick was fine. We just talked about it. And Pride is a player that I think has a lot of upside potential, and I trust them with DB. So, day 3 was like A+++.
It really was.
Day 1, A+ for doing what they did. And then on day 2, I give it like a solid B. So I average it out to an A-.
Yes. See, he knows my brain. He knows my brain.
Like it. That's your boy. Do you want to give some like brief overview of like classes you like, other classes? I mean, we got time for that?
Yeah. I got 20 minutes if you want to run through them. You want to share?
Let's do it.
Share on your screen, Alex?
Yeah, I can do that. Absolutely.
In case I got to go.
Absolutely. I'll share. All right. So let's remove, where we at? Yeah. Let's remove that. And I'll share. I
think we probably all have the same number 1 class. It was one of the best draft classes I've ever seen, if I'm being honest. Back-to-back years of this team just being absolutely insane and drafting. Unfortunately, their starting quarterback is awful. Yeah. No matter who wins the job, it's going to be terrible.
The organization just why? How can you be good at one thing and it's drafting?
Literally, like the last 2 years, they're drafting like it's Howie Roseman and Les Snead combined, but then they give away 3 first-round picks and them $230 million guaranteed to Deshaun Watson. It's like Cleveland makes no sense at all. And yes, that's who it was. We want to go like by Arizona and like go alphabetical like that, or do you just want who we think is the best?
let's just go over each one briefly, and
Okay.
I'm going to throw my grades out I had earlier out, and I'm going to do it like on the fly here because I'm not
Okay.
going back and forth. That's what just happened to my screen. I want to make sure it's good.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm doing good.
Oh yeah.
All right, Arizona. Randall's got 20 minutes. We can't talk for 3 minutes.
B.
Let's
C
go
Carson.
grade and maybe a 10 seconds of why. Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
C+. I think the Jeremiah Love pick's a bit overhated. Basantis was a stud of a draft pick, and I don't think Carson Beck was that bad. I really liked Caleb Proctor in the 4th round, and I think they got some decent value. But again, taking a running back at 3 makes it where you can't have too high of a grade.
Yeah, I agree. I think they should have taken offensive tackle first.
Yes.
There's a need
Yeah.
there. I thought
Actually,
that
I
was-
get-
or trade out. Or trade out. Why not?
I give it, I give it a C because Jeremiah Love now makes more than James Cook. That's absurd. Should not happen with a rookie. Basantis, great pick. Carson Beck, I cannot stand. I don't think he's got the cerebral for the quarterback, and I think his floor is the ceiling. So waste of a
Sure.
pick there.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. I give this a C- draft. I think I gave it a higher grade on my previous thing, but now I'm looking at it and we talk through it. I'm conceptualize it a little bit better. I think it was C+.
I just really loved Basantis and Proctor. I
Basantis
thought kind
It's
of
great.
if it wasn't for
Basantis-
Basantis and Proctor, this is
The
like
rest
a
of
D
it's kind of a
minus
mess,
extra.
though. But the rest of it's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know,
but two really good picks, I think, give it
Sure.
where it could have some value.
I want to go first this time. I really like that they brought in his Terrell's brother to play.
I
another
agree
side.
with
That's
that.
super cool.
I agree with that.
Zachariah Branch gives them something they don't have already. The rest, I like Harold Perkins Jr. as a linebacker steal late in the draft like that. I don't see him and Kendall Daniels to me. There's not much difference there as far as rating for me.
Similar roles, yeah.
Yeah. I give this draft a C+, just because of kind of vibes, but that's really the only reason.
I give it a B+. I thought it was good value for not having a first round pick. I think they got at least
That's
2
true.
starters. I think Terrell and Branch are both going to be quality starters for the team.
think
And then
Branch
I like the Harold Perkins dart pick. I'm not a huge Zachariah Branch fan for us, but I think he's going to be a good starting slot receiver to pair with Drake London, your big body guy.
He's
Yeah.
doing something different. Yeah.
I give it a B because this is where I had Zachariah Branch. So correct. Well, I actually had a 4th on him, but I accepted a mid-3rd for Zachariah Branch. I do like the Terrell brothers. I think it was kind of collusion a little bit because they talked about it. And then, but I hate the Ontario Thompson and Kendall Daniels, and I don't really like the Harold Perkins either. So I give it a B-.
I was fine with Perkins that late.
Yeah, I
That's
just
all
think
reason.
he's like 210 soaking wet.
Sure.
I guess you can put him on sub packages as a dime and have a
Right.
big dime.
Right. All right. Baltimore. I'll say this. Baltimore's first. Why did it just do that? Sorry. Hold on, dude. Okay. Baltimore's first 1, 2, 3, 4. First 4 picks I really like, although the double dip at receiver to me is like kind of unnecessary.
Especially when they're similar type of receivers.
I like, yeah, exactly. And I like Chandler, and Lamar's not good at throwing those type of receivers, right? So
just
we're
like
looking
Josh
at
isn't.
so we're looking at a position like not the right player for him to add to his receiver room in a lot of ways. They're trying to replace DeAndre Hopkins, which they phased out. Chandler Rivers in round 5, I thought was good value.
Yeah.
And the rest of it's kind of a mess. So, and Rashawn Benny, people liked him going in. I'm not a big Rashawn Benny guy. But
He was in that bucket of 5 that I talked about, defensive tackles. He's another one, and he was lower on the list than Zane Durant.
Yeah, and honestly, dude, I give them credit for taking Vega Yone because at the end of the day, like everyone knew they were going to take him.
Yeah.
And they still did it, which means they know their weaknesses. The problem with this draft is that they get 2 receivers that don't fit that well, and they didn't get a center when this was a center draft with good depth in the middle for center position. So I'm giving it like a C+.
I gave it an A-. I thought Vega was a slam dunk pick. I thought Zion Young was a really good pick to be that pass rusher. The other side of Trey Hendrickson. I mean, he's kind of more of a run defending type. Trey Hendrickson is not a run defender, so I think it's a good pair.
It's a good
And
pick.
while I don't think Lane and Surratt are like the type of receiver to fit Lamar, I think they're decent players, and you got one mid-3rd, mid-4. I think that their receiver depth is terrible. It's now better with those 2 guys. I think it's their wide receiver 3 and 4. So I can't really hate it too much. I think Chandler Rivers was good depth, and then they took 2 tight end dart throws to try and replace the tight ends they lost. Not saying they're great, but
Yeah.
you at least you needed those positions. You filled it in, and then kind of the rest. You got a punter and some more depth. Probably a couple players that get caught.
Yeah,
Right.
I give it a B because the top. I give it a B plus because the top 4. But yeah, SMU had a better tight end than Hibner.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already went through the
Yeah,
Bills.
RJ Maryland.
Yeah, we already did the Bills.
yeah.
A minus, B plus, B plus. Moving on.
Yeah.
Carolina. All right, Carolina. Man, I had a hard time with
Man.
them before the draft
That's an A.
because I didn't know what they needed, but it's
Yeah.
an A.
That's
It's
an A.
they got a left tackle in the future. They got a starting defensive tackle, 1 tech, 0 tech. I bet you'd be
Yeah.
happy with that. Chris Brazzell is a really good value, mid 3rd round. The guy people were talking about going late 1st, early 2nd for a while until everybody got burnt out on him. Sam Hecht is good. I like him a lot. And Zakee
Great
Wheatley,
center. Will
Yeah.
Lee is a great press man.
yeah, and then Zakee Wheatley, man. I mean, I liked him from the beginning. I know
Mm-hmm.
he's not great, but it's a 6th or 5th round pick, right?
He's super athletic.
They got better for sure. I don't see any major misses, and that's
Yeah.
enough to give an A in my opinion.
For sure.
Yep.
All right, Bears.
Yeah, I felt this. Yeah, Chicago. I gave it a B. I really loved the Thieneman pick. I think
Yeah.
Malik Muhammad was good depth corner. Logan Jones okay after that. Yeah. I think A plus 1st round pick, and if you get an A plus 1st round pick, I can't give you too bad of a grade because the first is the most important. And they got some decent depth, but like the rest of it was pretty meh.
My issue with Thieneman is they didn't really need a safety.
Yeah, they did.
Lost,
Their
yeah, they did. They
starting
lost every
safety
safety they had last year.
was Cam Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They lost like 3 safeties in free agency last year. Chauncey
Yeah.
Gardner
They
Johnson,
got Kobe Bryant, good player. Elijah Hicks.
Bayard, and who was the other safety? Literally 3 starting safeties.
Well, now they've got
3
Kobe
plus 3
Bryant,
safeties they
who's a
lost.
good player, and then Elijah Hicks is a decent player too.
Yeah, but Thieneman was easily the best player on the board, and
For sure.
he's much better than both of those guys. And now I think they have an elite secondary.
I gave it a
Yeah.
C because I see I like Malik Muhammad, and then the rest I'm just kind of like, meh.
Yes, Sam Roush will be interesting to see if he can block in the NFL. And Xavier Thomas was an awful pick. I had a UDFA on him, so B minus.
Yeah.
Jordy Vandenberg was a good pick though.
Bengals, man, it's weird. They really like these different edge players than Hendrickson. They're pivoting away.
Yeah.
Cachetal, Boye Mafe. I thought Takario Davis. I thought that was high for him. I'm not a big Takario Davis guy. Connor Lew, that's fine.
He won't play this year, so
Yeah,
because
I
his
mean-
ACL.
That's right, ACL. And then I like the Landon Robinson pick late.
Yeah, me too.
7th round. I give
me
this
too.
this is like, to me, like a C draft. I don't really see there's anything
Same.
crazy.
I gave it a B because I think it's good value for not even a 1st round pick. See, I don't do it based on like the number of players, like how good the players are they brought in. How good is the value compared to what their draft slot? They didn't have their 1st round pick, and I thought they got some pretty quality players. I think Cassius Howell, I think
value.
will offer some juice on the
Yeah.
outside, good value. I thought Dakario Davis in the 3rd round made sense. Connor Lew at the end of the 4th, he's not going to play this year, but I think if he didn't tear his ACL, he probably was an easy day
D1.
2 pick.
Yep.
Yeah,
Another
center,
one, yeah.
center 1. Yeah, Landon Robinson in the 7th, I thought was good value too.
got 2
No
centers.
real like studs, like A plus picks, but just some good quality picks, and I think it leads to a B.
All right. This is
This
I'm
is a
agree.
crown jewel. This is
This is
It's
like
the
one-
crown freaking
I'll
jewel.
say this: the Browns and the Jets draft well every year.
Yeah.
It never
and they
works
do
out.
nothing that's good.
But this is the
They can't
best.
play the quarterback.
But this is the best Browns draft I have ever seen.
It's
and
crazy.
It might be
Even-
one of the best I've seen. Period.
No, Parker Spradford in the 5th, nuts. Like not for nothing. Like everybody's worried about his weight. That was it. That was Jason Kelsey's exact weight at his draft.
Yep. I mean,
Jalen Green, Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, Spencer
Spencer
Fidel,
Fidel.
who's a versatile, Austin Barber, which is such a great, who
player.
I wanted, who I guarantee Buffalo would have took at 101 if he was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I good player. I like Justin Jefferson too, by the way. I mean, I think this is like Taylor Green getting another stab at a development of quarterback late. Like, this is an A++ draft. It's the best draft.
Yeah, I think they went from a bottom 3 offensive situation in football to a top 10.
they prepared whoever the
I
quarterback is
think-
going to be for
Yeah.
the future. With
Their
the
offensive line is
quarterback.
they took 3 stabs at offensive linemen. Even if Fano has to move inside, you got Barber, and then you got Brailsford to be center. And even if Fano has to move inside, he's going to be a very good guard, which I think he will have to move inside. He's probably going to be a guard, but you got a starting guard, a starting tackle, and a starting center potentially. 2 starting wide receivers that do opposite things, and then Emmanuel McNeil Warren to fall as far as he did.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
literally
Yeah,
that.
crazy.
They could have seven plus starters out of this draft, and like,
Yep.
Sure.
and probably I think at least 3 of them will be like all pro level guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Their receiver room just went from being the worst, one of the bottom 3 or 4 receiver rooms in the league to now top 20, top 15.
20 for sure.
And by
sure.
next year, it could be top 10 to 15
It could be
with
top 10
KC
next year.
and Boston's
That's good.
development. Yep.
Right.
All right, Dallas. I like Caleb Downs a lot. I didn't see a major safety need here though. They had just picked up a safety, I think 2 safeties in free agency.
Caleb Downs is going to be their nickel.
Oh,
Ca-
is that
they-
one of them? Okay.
Yeah, Caleb Downs will do the Kyle Hamilton
So
role
you just
sort of
drafted
thing.
a nickel really high. But yeah, you're right. If it's a Kyle Hamilton transition, he's that
is,
good.
for
and
sure.
Him, Hamilton, and
Nick Imanwari.
not Imawari, but who's the guy? I just said his name a few minutes ago. Chargers guy.
Derwin James.
Derwin James are my 3 highest rated safeties over the last like 10 years.
Yeah.
Um,
Caleb Downs was the number 2 player in this draft based on
Sure.
talent. Getting that piece as a DB is an A+++
Yep.
at 11.
And-
I think this is an A. Malachi Lawrence rocks. He's going to be a good DPR for them. Jayshawn Barham is that versatility piece that we wanted. Drew Shelton's a dog. Miley, you like Devin Moore, as do I. At that value,
Overton Waite's a
Devin
good
Moore all
pick.
day.
So
Yeah,
I don't
Overton sucks.
I
I
didn't
like
go-
Anthony Smith though.
put it. Well, actually, I didn't realize it was 4th round. It looks later than that. I'll say this: the only reason I give it a B+, and this is why, or a B, is because I thought they really needed linebacker help, and they just didn't address it.
Yeah, because
I think it's
I-
the most glaring
I
need.
I have a sneaky suspicion that now
Cool.
people are trying to put Barham in the off-ball linebacker role and not the edge role.
Possible.
I
That's
also
not-
could see them
we'll do
signing like Bobby Okereke
Yeah.
or maybe even stealing
Right.
Shaq Pompins from us. There's still like, I think people that like, or teams that like blatantly ignore obvious positions of need. It's probably because they have deals in place with veterans, and the
All
only reason
day.
they haven't signed them yet is because
All
they would have gone like that position if the value fell. But they're
Yeah.
like, all right, we have a veteran we're signing. We're not going to reach. We're going to let the board fall to us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like they have a corner problem as well. I think like there was just some things that I didn't love, but I mean it's not like it's a good draft. Clearly, they got a lot of good.
I have an A on
their
it as
defense
well.
got better.
Yeah.
Give it a B. Denver.
Denver
C+.
certainly has a type in defensive tackles with Onyedem. Man, that was a reach.
Denver-
Huge reach.
My first thought about Denver was Denver to me feels like they're a team that believes they're the Seahawks and have no holes.
Yeah.
They got
I
Waddle
know.
and re-signed a bunch of their own guys,
Yeah.
and then they had this draft, and I'm kind of like, oh, I mean, C-. Like that's how
I'll
it
say
Yeah.
Justin Jolie.
Jolie.
Jolie, yeah, he's French.
Jolie.
Is my best red zone contested catch high pointing tight end. Dude is explosive. That was a great pick.
That was a good pick.
Jonah Coleman. I mean,
player.
okay, he's my guy. I wore his shirt on day 3 because I love Jonah
Yeah.
Coleman. So that's a good pick at 4. But it's whatever. You're right. I mean,
Red
it's
Murdoch
like
too.
They didn't need
Yeah,
a
Red
running
Murdoch
back
was a good
really either. You know, like
Yeah.
they just got Harvey last year. I think they Dobbins
Yeah.
back. Like there's like, I mean, it's fine. I like Coleman too. I just think why?
right,
You could do
You're
other
giving up on Harvey already.
especially in your
feel
second
like-
pick, right? Like
Yeah.
your second pick.
In their defense, they got a quarterback. They've got a bunch of offensive
Yeah.
linemen that are pretty good. They got a top 3 defense in the NFL. So maybe they don't think that. But I mean, I think they can improve. Like, who's their corner 2? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Riley Moss.
yeah,
Riley Moss, yeah.
you can improve that.
Right. Yeah,
You
you,
know what I
got to
mean? Like-
improve there.
Like
all
they
day.
didn't do
You
anything.
could improve
with
your safety, your safety across from Hofunga.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
improve
there.
Yes.
You can improve your linebacker core. I mean, they did pick
Yep.
up Murdoch. I think he's a great pick. You could improve your defensive line a little bit better than I think they did. Your tight end and running back. I mean, this wasn't a great class for those, but they could have. I mean, I guess Coleman and Jolie are probably the best picks they could have done to improve that, but it's
Yep.
So Lions.
This is an
This
A.
is-
This is
plus.
A.
This is
Yeah.
A+.
Woo!
This
Garrett
is-
Moore,
they
Jimmy
hit-
Rolder, Keith
they hit
Abney.
all of their needs, and then when they were done, they got good players. Like
Yeah.
they were done, Blake Miller and Derek Moore and Rolder, and they were done with their needs. And then what they do, they get Abney and Kendrick Law right after that. Like Kendrick Law to me, I like Kendrick Law a lot.
He's Khalil Shakir. Khalil Shakir.
Yes, he's Khalil Shakir, but he is
Right.
a good asset for them. He
Yeah.
does something different than everybody else does on the roster. Although
Right.
you could say Amon Ra is a souped up Shakir, but he plays on the outside a lot more than Shakir does.
Yeah.
This is an A+ for me. I thought this was a top 5 draft.
Keith Abney
I
was my
didn't feel that way at
cornerback
all.
5.
He's
Keith Abney
good.
was my CB 5. He's
I
good.
love Yep.
Yeah, Tyre West is good too, man.
Dude, when they- go ahead. Sorry, I mean, cut you off.
I gave this a B. I thought Blake Miller was a very good pick. I did not like the Derek Moore pick at all. I just wasn't super high on him. I thought that the beginning of the mid-second round, too high for him. Jimmy Rolder, I think, is a decent player, but I don't feel they got value on him. I thought he was a mid-4th round, late 4th round guy they got in that spot. Keith Abney, I thought was a really good pick. Kendrick Law, yeah, you say he's like Shakir, but I don't think he's not. He doesn't have the contact balance that Shakir has. I don't think he's as good after the catch as Shakir. I mean, I think he's good after the catch, but I don't think he's Shakir level.
Yeah,
and
but
I think it's a B. I think they got Blake Miller's a good pick, and then they got some decent players after that.
I'm a Derek Moore believer.
Okay,
they really needed a second edge. They've been wanting one for 3 years. They can't find one. They finally get a young one.
right.
I have a mid second round grade on him for sure. I'm not saying he's a leader.
I had a third on him.
He has juice. I like Rolder in round 4. I thought he was clearly the best linebacker on the board. When he got picked right before Elam Zor, I think Randall made a comment.
Elam Zor
There's a
was better than
linebacker
Rolder.
gone. We could have used him. I thought that they were in the same tier. I'm not saying Elam Zor and him are different types of players, but I think that they're similar tiered linebackers in this draft. That's kind of how I viewed it. So I think if you like Elam Zor for us, I think Rolder for them is a reasonable pick. But you even said, you're like, this is appropriate value. It's not like a huge steal or anything.
Yeah,
right.
that's kind of what it is.
That's accurate. But yeah, it's just a different perspective. I think the difference between us and you, Miley, here is that we like Derek Moore a lot more than you do.
100%. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yes, I just I was not super high in this edge class to begin with. So
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's actually probably better in the middle than it had been than it usually is, but at the top it just wasn't very like David Bailey.
Yeah.
Not like an elite edge rusher prospect.
Bane, if he had longer arms, but
Whoa, yeah. If he had longer,
sure.
he'd be in the top 2 pick. All right. So for Green Bay, this one was weird too. I like Brandon Cisse a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I don't. Danny Dennis Sutton is a weird player for me. It's in the 4th round though, so I'm like whatever about it.
Yeah.
McClellan, I like. The rest is kind of whatever. Other than you got your kicker.
yeah,
This is a C for me. That's just kind of how I view it.
C minus.
Yeah, like a C minus.
Damani Jackson's not that guy. Chris McClellan's a day 3 guy. Danny Dennis Sutton is a late day 3 guy. Jaeger Burton was a decent one. He's a super athlete at center.
Yeah.
See, I love Cisse though.
Problem is, they just didn't have a 1st round pick again.
Well, see, that's where I'm not gonna hate their
count.
value. Like I think they got good value compared to not having a top 50 pick. I think Cisse and McClellan they got 2 starters or 3, I guess, starting kicker, starting D tackle, starting corner.
Sure.
And then Damani Jackson, I think, and Jaeger Burt are good dart throws, and Danny Des Sutton has some potential and some juice. So, and it's not like they have to rely on him too much. When Micah comes back, you have Micah. So, and also Luke Van Ness and others. It's like he's a depth guy.
All right, Texans. Man, the Texans act like they have all world tackles. I mean, they just keep getting rid of them and going the next time. Like they just don't care about replacing it, and it shows up on game day. Like their guards are they're not good either, but they're not the real problem here. And the real problem is the guards are compensating for bad tackles, in my opinion, and they just keep unloading them and they're not replenishing them, pretending like the next guy's better. Like that's why I hate this so much.
I didn't like this draft.
I like Caden McDonald for them a lot. That makes their defense really kind of scary on the front.
Right.
So I'm not going to kill him and give him an F, right? Or even a D. I'm going to give him a C minus overall.
Me too.
Because I kind of like Kamari Ramsey, especially in round 5. I like Keenan Rutledge. Helps their guard room quite a bit.
Aiden Fisher was a very good pick. That's crazy value in round 7.
I'm going to give him a C. I mean, that's kind of how I view this one.
I gave it a B minus. I think
Yeah.
if you're looking at the defensive side of this draft, like most years for the Texans,
Sure.
A plus slamming out of the park. This is why they have the best defense in football.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at their offensive side of the draft, like most years, this is like a D, which is why their offense sucks.
Right.
You got 2 guards and a 3rd tight end who's a 6-year guy who didn't
Right.
finally start until this year. He's been a backup until he's
Oh.
24 years old. And yeah, but Ramsey, Fisher, McDonald is 3 defenders. That's
Yeah,
really,
that's
really
good
good.
ones.
So I think you got good value, really good value to those 3 picks, and because of that, I go B minus.
All right.
Yep.
Colts.
Okay, guys, that was my last team. I got to run.
All right, cool. Me and
Appreciate you
Molly will
guys.
handle
Good
it.
stuff.
We're gonna
Peace
finish
out.
it, right,
Okay.
Molly?
What?
Can you want to finish?
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll finish it for you. All right, Brandon.
Okay.
We'll see you next
All
week.
right.
boy.
See you guys.
All right,
All right.
see it. All right, for the Colts, I love this draft. I gave it an A. I
Okay.
think for not having a first-round pick, you get C.J. Young and AJ Halasi, I think, are 2 starters, 2 very good players. I like Bryce Boucher a lot. I thought he was kind of like a beginning around 4 guy. So you got 2 good linebackers and a good safety because their defense was their weak point. Their offense, I really got some quarterback is very good. And even Danny Dimes, you just got some there. You increase offensive guard. I think Jalen Farmer in the mid-4th, very good value. I think George Gums got some great juice, and you got him halfway through the 5th round. I think they really replenished a lot on the defensive side, and Lou Amarulo is probably licking his chops to how he's going to use some of these players.
I agree. It's weird. At first I didn't like it that much, and then I kept looking at it and going, man, like CJ Allen, AJ Halsey, like those players a lot. I like Jalen Farmer a lot. I like Butcher a lot. I like George Gums in round 5 is fine, right? Like I don't love him as a high-end edge, but I'm like, okay. And then they got Caden Curry right behind that. Don't love him high, but in round 6,
and around 6 too.
Yeah, how many Caden Currys are you going to find that late?
Yeah.
I thought they should have tracked for a receiver earlier.
But then Deion Burks, late 7's very good value.
That's good value. I had Burks for me was like a late 5th range.
Yeah.
I just think he's better than he's getting. I think there's not much difference between him and Brennan Thompson, but whatever. I'll digress.
And then Seth McGowan, I think he's their RB2. I think he's better than DJ Giddens and whoever else they have there.
So I went from initially being like, oh, C+. Now I'm at B+, maybe A-.
Yeah. I actually had it as an A-, but now that I'm looking at it again, this is one of those drafts you just look at it and you really go through and you're just like, great value, great value. It's like there's not a single pick there that you're like, yeah, they reached on that player.
Because even today, I sent my initial grades to you guys. I did those yesterday, and then after I kept looking through them, I'm started to change my mind on some. I was like, well, screw it, we're just gonna do it, but we're gonna wing it anyway.
Yeah.
But looking at it now, that one increased a lot for me. The Houston even I like it more now than I did on my previous grade. You're right. You have to put in perspective of not who you like, but more the value of the player at the spot that seemed to be consensus at the time is more appropriate, right? So this draft that we're about to look at is dog awful trash.
This is the complete opposite of the Colts. Where they reached on every player except for one.
I mean, this looks like I had if you have a kid who's 8 years old and he's drafting the daughter draft with you might as well have put SpongeBob in the first pick. This is how bad this shit is. This is bad. This is straight. They didn't attend the combine because they think they're smarter than everybody else. That pisses me off too. This is what happens. They did not go to the combine. They made a big deal about it. I don't remember that or not.
They were also the one that were outspoken about letting all their good players walk for comp picks.
Yeah, it's their GM. This is why you can't hire GMs that are 12 years old. He's younger than me. He's older than you. He's 35, I think. These guys think that they're these wonderkin geniuses, and they're going to do all this crazy shit. Don't do it. Don't hire the 50-year-old guy. You know what I mean?
Unless I do get trying to get lightning in a bottle, which it does work out. Coaches wise, I think
all the time.
I think coaches wise is someone you can go young because you want the innovators to that kind of open up the league. But GMs, you want a little more experience because I mean, think about it. You get your Sean McVays and your Liam Cohens. That makes total sense.
Let's just look at this dumb shit for a second, and we'll just keep moving. We're about to get F minuses. Nate, Borkircher in round 2. That's way too effing high. Like, why would we do that in round 2? It's a bad tight end draft after the top 2. Albert Reed.
After the top 1, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Emmanuel Pregnon's a good pick. That's the only
one.
That's
the reason. That's why it's not an F. That's why I don't have it as an F. I have it as a D because I think Pregnon was an early day 2 guy or an early round 2 guy, and you got him late round 3.
I'm gonna try to be charitable. Josh Cameron in round 6 is probably fine, right? Manuel Pregnon's a steal in round 3 based on what we know knowledge wise. We talked about that earlier. I just don't see anything else that's redeeming here. This looks like a UDFA signing sheet.
With Pregnon.
Like with Pregnon. It's Pregnon and a UDFA sheet. That's what it looks like. This looks like what Ryan Talbot sends to us every year after the draft. Where I'm looking to guys, I kind of know that guy, kind of guy. Like half of these guys I never even scouted.
I never heard. I'm just those like round 3 when the receiver Miami took in round 3, and I'm just like, who is that?
Ahead of Chris Bell. We'll get to them in a second. I didn't give them a great grade either.
They redeemed themselves.
They redeemed themselves with Chris Bell because they knew what they had done. They knew what they did. All right, I'm going to give the Chiefs get an A-.
Yep, that's what I had too.
Cyrus Allen. I'm not going to start at the top. Bottom. Cyrus Allen in round 5. I mean, that's really. I think he's a good player. I think if he had more eyes on him for longer, he would have been like a round 3 pick, round 4 maybe. Garrett Nussmeier fell really far because of the back issue. Round 7's great. I mean, he's at the end of round 7 too.
Yeah, they got to replace their fraudulent QB. So
yep, Emmett Johnson was picked. Was the owner? No, that's a different team. Never mind. That was Baltimore. Baltimore let their owner pick the running back they got because he wanted to have one pick. That's what he said, and they were like, "Sure, you're the owner." Like,
yeah, you can take Derrick Henry's 3rd string backup, I guess.
These first 4 picks, though, for me are slam dunks. Kennedy in round 4, R. Mason in round 2, Peter Woods, Mansour Delane. R. Mason's the exact type of edge they needed to flip to because they've got a bunch of Reuben Baines. They're not poor man Reuben Baines is what they go with usually. Like Karlaftis is a poor man's version of that. I thought it was great. I thought the trade up for Mansour Delane was completely fine for the corner too.
I think it was fine, but I think it's the reason why I can't give this like an A or an A plus because they had to give up plus assets to get Delane. I get why they did. I'm not saying it's a bad pick. It is the correct decision. Washington scooping him up, but just pure value wise, the fact that they had to give up more assets than pick 9 to get him is why it's an A-. Still very, I think it's very solid. It's the trade up. If they took him at 9, this is an A+ draft. This is top 3 draft in the league, and
they did it because they, along with every other team, knew McCoy was going to slide, and there was no competition for the top corner anymore.
Yeah,
and they had to do it. You know, I mean, I do see that. I mean, the assets they give up, right? Like, you don't want to have to do that. But I think that they felt like, if we want one, we got to go get him now.
Which is totally fair. I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying from like a pure value standpoint, which is how I try to look at it when I make these grades.
I like this is a Chargers draft. I like their draft. It feels very Chargers-y. Man, though, they really did not. Jake Slaughter is a good player. I like him. Messidor is a good player, but he's older, but that's fine. Whatever. He's 25. Who cares? But I don't love it, right? Like, they didn't approach guard until the end of the draft. So it's hard for me to, like, go, they were really trying to attack needs, which I guess they don't need to attack needs because that's the smart thing to do sometimes. But, man, they waited a really long time to go after the guards late. I don't mind the value of most of these picks. Like Brennan Thompson in round 4, I think is. I mean, he's not my favorite type of player,
his
but
speed with Herbert's deep ball could be really something.
He gives them something that they don't have, right? Like they're not even they can get deep, but they're not like stretch the field speed guys, right? Thought that was a good pick. So I give us like a B-.
I gave it a B+. They clearly were like, our offensive line was terrible last year because all the injuries. We're going to load up on depth. And obviously I'm a Gators fan, so I love Slaughter. But I mean, Slaughter was projected first-round pick going into the year, and then Florida's team just kind of fell off. But they still, the one thing they had was their offensive line and their run game, and that was centered by Jake Slaughter. And they signed Biads, but it's not like they gave him some crazy contract. They gave him like
it was
3
weird.
years.
That was another reason.
And it's not like Biads is a great. I think Biads is fine. but I don't think he's some great center. And also, you probably can try Slaughter or Biadz, one of them at guard. That's probably their thought. And then Burke is the backup tackle for when Slater or all eventually get injured, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Genesis. Oh, wait, you can go.
Yeah, Genesis was good too. I like that pick.
Yeah.
Biotis is like a borderline Pro Bowler his whole career. He's been to a couple Pro Bowls, I think. In a true form, not like the bullshit.
But he's like but he's getting up there in age a little bit more.
Yeah, he's a little bit more. So maybe they're preparing for that. So I thought it was kind of an unnecessary pick. There is another reason why I kind of have it a little lower than you, but it's reasonable. I hate this draft.
I gave it a D plus.
It's a D plus.
It's saved by their 7th round pick. Funny enough.
Funny enough, we would have loved to have Tim Keenan and
I would have loved Tim Keenan. I would have been happy we took Tim Keenan at 101.
Yeah, I know. Oh, really? I wouldn't want him that high. He's well. I guess it doesn't matter how athletic he is, but
okay, maybe 125. But like, if we took one of our 4th round picks on Keenan, I would have been happy with it. So
yeah.
And as soon as we got out of the 4th round, I kept saying it was like there was like the 4 nose tackles. I'm like, please get one of them. Please get one of them. And we just kept not. I'm just like, please get one of them.
And just kept out. And then when they took the fence, picked Durant, I was like, oh wait, I hadn't done much work on him. I was like,
yeah. And then I looked at his size, and I'm just like, oh crap.
That makes sense. Ty Simpson's too high. Max Clare, I mean, whatever. I mean, I think that's probably the range Max Clare goes, but I mean, it's a tight end. They didn't really need it.
Especially since they spent their top pick on a tight end last year.
I like
Ferguson.
I'm way lower on CJ Daniels than consensus. I just don't think he's that good of a player. I know people like him. They put him at the ranking. Some people have him as like a top 15 receiver in this draft. I don't. I disagree. I think he's probably the right range, though. I guess.
I think it's good value just because when it comes to wide receiver, I'm going to trust a shot.
The other thing is they avoided wide receiver for so long in this draft. It made me feel like, well, dude, like, do you not know like what you like? You're taking.
Davante Adams gets injured. That receiving core is terrible.
Yeah, exactly. One player goes down, they're screwed, and Puka
it's just
doing that great right now. Puka's got problems.
Well, I mean, Puka puts up insane numbers, but like with Davante Adams deals with more hamstring issues.
I could see Puka having like 3 weeks missed this year, but like mental health days because he's having some issues, dude. I don't know. I hope that's not the case.
I heard he's back though from his rehab stint.
Yeah. All right, Raiders. I am actually not that big of a fan of what they did.
This is I think the second best draft. I give it an A+.
Really?
I love this.
Let me tell you why first. I love Mendoza's the obvious pick, so I can't give him.
Yeah, you got your franchise QB.
Doing that. It just is what it's. I mean, great, they got it. That's awesome. It's an extra point, but it's not an extra. I'm not giving you extra bonus for picking the right guy.
Just a solid A pick.
Trading Stukes, I love it. I thought he rose up draft boards late. I thought he was great. Good job. Now, I'm not saying I hate this draft, by the way. I'm not an A+ guy on this draft. Kieran Crawford, fine. I think that's probably appropriate value. Trey Zune, don't understand it unless they're moving him to guard because they just paid a shit ton of money for Linderbaum. That was my first what? Jamal McCoy, good job getting him in early round 4.
I think it was a steal of the draft. That is the best pick of the draft.
Mike Washington is good value at this level too. I thought Mike Washington for me was running back 3.
Behind Bryson. I had him 4, but I had Coleman out of him.
Yeah, he's top 5 for sure, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was fine, but it's a backup running back, right? I thought the rest was just kind of like whatever. I think that they really missed the boat on not attacking wide receiver at all. They have an awful wide receiver room.
Yes, but they do have
B+ instead of like an A+ because they didn't address that,
Well, my thing is they do have Brock Bowers,
Sure.
and they did, and then I'm not saying this is, but like I think the receiving core is better now than it was at the end of the season. With Naylor is at least a piece, and they drafted 2 developmental guys last year with
and I like
Thornton and I can't think of their other guy they got from TCU.
Thornton, but it wasn't very good. Yeah, there's another one. Oh yeah, Jack Besh.
Besh, yeah. And it's like, all right,
at all, by the way.
No, I think you got like 3 wide receiver 3s and 4. They're bottom 3 receiving core in football for sure. But they do have Brock Bowers, which makes up for that because he's the best tight end in football, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but I don't think they're going to be that good next year, and next year's wide receiver class is insane.
Maybe
that's why. Yeah, and maybe that's why I'm not too worried. Is they're going to just go and do whatever they can to get Cam Coleman or something.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like Mendoza. You got your franchise QB. Stukes. I think is going to be Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, it's
saying
not
that
a
about it.
surplus value, but you get your franchise QB. And then Stukes, you're going to get Tehran's replacement because he's there for just a year. You
Yeah.
can learn behind Tehran, which I think is a great veteran to want to learn behind.
He can also just
He's your
play
slot
safety
guy.
too, you know.
Yeah, and then also play safety this year, but learn behind Tehran to be able to be that slot corner once he's gone. Kayon Crawford, Trey Zune, fine value. But then in day 3, I thought McCoy was the best pick of the entire draft. I get the medicals, like that's why he fell. But
Smart.
if he was healthy, he would have been the second overall pick in this class. He was in 2024. He was coming projected to be the first, the best player on many people's big board. Yes, he's dealing with knee problems. That's why you got him in round 4, pick 101.
I didn't
instead
think
of
Will Johnson.
Yeah, exactly.
Last year, and that was a bad move for whoever people passed on him. I thought it was gonna be the same thing, like early second, maybe at the latest. I thought he was
Exactly.
still first. But they're not happy with this bone plug thing, which is that really? I mean, must be a huge deal. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. But
apparently, I read that this is a type of surgery you can only have one time, and if he has the issue again, it's career-ending or could be career-ending. That's why. But then I think the last 3 picks: Brandon Cleveland, the 7th round, steal; Malik Benson, the 6th round, steal. Hezekiah Massis is kind of your Massis is the injury hedge bet against McCoy.
Right.
And I think because of that A+ draft, their defenses they don't really have to really focus on defense next year. They have, with the money they spent, now they keep Max Crosby and the draft picks they spent on their secondary. That defense could be really good in 2 to 3 years.
Solid. It could be solid next year. You know?
Yeah, solid next year, but I'm saying really good. In
Not
2 to 3
awesome,
years.
but definitely 20th in the league.
Yeah, and then they could be average
with a good
defense
pass
next
rush.
year, and they could be a top 5 to 7 defense in 2 to 3 years.
Yep. All right, Miami. So I'm giving this a very generous C-.
Yeah.
I'm being generous. Caden Proctor, I like Caden Proctor. There are some concerns about weight. And even Nick Saban said there was concerns about his weight coming in at 400 pounds. I think that's a risk. The talent's there. I think this is a little bit of a reach. Okay. Don't mind the player, mind the reach. Chris Johnson, like the player, a little bit of a reach for me. Jacob Rodriguez, like the player. Stud, probably a little bit of a reach based on.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't think it's a bit of a reach.
So, and even if you say it's appropriate, the first 2 were a reach. Caleb Douglas is a
This is where I went who. That's This is where I went who.
Sorry. Who? I knew who he was when I did it, but I did double take. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You had Chris Bell. They waited 20 picks to pick Chris Bell after that. They could have just done it right after knowing they messed up. They picked Caleb Douglas, and I'm like, this is literally a UDFA player to me.
And then, funny enough, the Will Keckmerk. I was hanging out with a friend that was an Ohio State fan.
He's not.
He said he goes, I've never seen him catch a pass before.
He's also a UDFA player to me. He is a top 25 tight end in this class, in my opinion. He's not. You're right. You want a blocking tight end, great. Don't take him around 3. Chris Bell, you made up for a little. They went from B, a solid B, the first 3 picks to me. Caleb Douglas, you're a D- already because you just jacked it up so bad. Will, I'm sorry, you're a D+. Then you go to a D- for me. And then Chris Bell saves it up to a C- for me. And then I thought the rest of the draft was probably fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think Michael Taffy and Kyle Lewis were good. They probably got 6 or 7 starters in this class. But they have what? How many picks?
Yeah,
I have
look at all these picks,
15,
dude.
that's
More than
14,
that.
15 picks. And they got
picks. 1, 2,
they're
3,
literally
4,
just
5,
some of these
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, sorry.
Yeah, 13. And a lot of them were first, second, and third round picks, and half of them you're just pissing away.
I don't mind DJ Campbell that late. I think that's fine. Max Llewellyn that late, fine. Traore, they wanted an RAS guy. He's a high-end athlete. Kevin Coleman, he reminds me of the rest of the bad receivers on Miami's roster. Michael Taffy, underwhelming athlete. I like the heart. I'm not sure if he's ever going to be more than Jim Leonard. You know what I mean? I just don't know. That'd be my comp for him. So I said C- just because I think I could give him a D, but I just don't. They had so many swings at the bat. They were going to hit a few of these, right?
Yeah.
Is that where you're at too? Do you see?
Yeah, I'd C minus. Yeah,
All right, Minnesota.
I
Man,
thought
I
this
love
draft
this
was
pick.
overrated. I gave it a B plus. I really like this draft for Minnesota.
So do
You're
I.
getting 2 stud defensive tackles and a good linebacker for who's their defensive coordinator? I'm blanking on his
Flores.
name.
Flores.
Yeah, Brian Flores to work with. Oh my god, he is licking his
Jake
chop
Golday. Love
to,
that.
to
pick.
have a D tackle room of Caleb Banks and Dominique Orange
Yeah.
and then Jake Golday behind it. Oh my god. And
I like Caleb Tiernan as the tackle. I think
Yeah.
Jacoby Thomas is an
good
underrated
value.
prospect in this
Yeah, I
draft.
think that's decent value.
Max Bredeson is an underrated tight end in this draft. I thought they did a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, these
I
guys
don't
are
think
like,
their day 3 was great, but like that first
it's
3
okay. I mean, but yeah, it's good enough on the first day to make me give them. I gave them an A minus
okay.
because
I
I
did
just
day
think
3
Banks
kind of
and
just
Orange-
fell it off a bit.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Banks
Banks and
Orange,
Orange, oh my
Golday,
God.
I thought in Tiernan, Jacoby Thomas, like those first like 5 picks, I just think they hit home run value. Good players. Caleb Banks for me was in the middle of the first round, as in terms of value. Dominique Orange, 3rd round mid. Like I would have actually been okay with him at 62 if we had taken him.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like Jake Golday, right in the right space. I thought that they did a really good job adding to an already pretty good defense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, New England.
I gave them a
for
C. I think this is saved by Gabe Yakus at the end of the second round. I thought that was really good value. But you have 2. You traded up. Thank you for giving us Skylar Bell because that's literally what it was.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Why are you trading with the enemy with the Patriots to let them get the guy they want?" Well, we got
That's true.
Skylar Bell out of it, so thank you, and TJ Parker
And
eventually. so-
enjoy your backup.
Enjoy
tackle
your-
that you're hedging
Yeah, and-
on your starter. You spent a bunch of money on last year. Now he probably feels like shit because he's like, oh no.
Well, I thought they're probably just moving Lomu to right tackle.
Well, they're saying that, but
Yeah, and either way, it's like okay, but if you move Will Campbell inside, and you have Caleb Lomu eventually be the left tackle starter, you just have the same issues because
yeah,
they have 2 T-Rex tackles.
yeah, and not to mention like it's not good for the mental health of your left tackle you just drafted that got worked so badly in the playoffs over and over again because of his length, and then you draft a guy in the first, you trade up for a guy in the first round. I mean, it's got to be like, oh shit, the pressure's on now. It's not, they're not, because remember at the end of the year, Vrabel's like, yeah, man, I'm sticking behind my guy and all this other bullshit. We all knew it was bullshit. And then he sits there and he takes freaking, and goes, the first thing they do is bring in some guy that could threaten his job, So he likely doesn't start. Gabe Yakus saves it for me a little bit. Then they doubled up at tackle with Crownover. I thought that was fine in round 6. It's a good value. But overall, this draft is kind of all over the place and kind of shitty. So I gave it I gave this a D plus actually.
Okay, yeah. So we're kind of
We're close, but I'm lower on it than you are. I think Lomu's pick is more egregious. The trade up they're the one trading with the enemy at that point because they have the pressure of hitting the pick.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was adding unnecessary drama, which is what the Patriots do. Clearly.
Yep.
All right, Saints. I love this draft.
A. Oh yeah, I gave it an A. I
love
think
They freaking nailed it. I thought this was like my second favorite draft is this draft.
I think this is probably my 3rd favorite behind Cleveland. Oh no, 4th favorite. Cleveland or Vegas, Indy, and then this one.
Okay.
I think you filled in every single offensive hole you have. You had no receiver depth behind Chris Olave. So what you do, go get Tyson, Lance, and Barry Brown.
And Delp for tight end.
Yeah. You had no real guard depth behind Cesar Ruiz and David Edwards. So when if one of them gets injured, you go and get Jeremiah Wright. I think that's good value. And then you go and get a stud D tackle in the middle with Christian Miller. You
Lorenzo
go and get a Lorenzo Styles, insane athlete at the end of the 5th round. Oscar Delp's a good tight end to pair with Juwan Johnson for your 12 personnel. And I think he can eventually take over Johnson's job because he's
TJ Hall in the 7th. I mean, that's a great value.
TJ Hall in the 7th
Solid
is a
player.
good depth corner. Like they just this is
I don't see one pick on here. The reason I give it A plus, like if the Browns are A plus, they're an A plus. They're like 2 pluses down. But I just thought
That's
this is
fair.
the most seamless draft of hitting on your needs at appropriate times, appropriate values. Kirsten Miller, love him. He was my favorite D tackle in this draft. Bryce Lance in round 4 to double up at receiver. I mean, like, and now
And around 4 too.
bro, like Tyler Shuck's gonna be. I'll say this: people said I was crazy for thinking Tyler Shuck was the third best. I thought he was the third quarterback in the last draft, and I thought he'd be okay. We were like, he's gonna fucking suck, blah blah blah. Dude, he looks not amazing. He's not an amazing player. Don't get me wrong, but you're gonna make him look amazing with this. What they're adding to this team.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a top 10 offensive line, a top 10 receiver room.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The receiver room is gonna
room, and I think a top 10 offensive mind in football.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think their offense is gonna be really good, and their defense was already pretty decent last year. I think they're probably the best team in that division.
Yeah. All right. This is the weirdest draft.
It's them and Carolina. I think them and Carolina are going to be battling. I think I think the NFC South might be going from having no teams over 500. I think they're going to have 2 teams over 500 next year.
They could have 3.
Granted, they're going to be like 9-8, 10-7. I think
Tampa's still in the. There could be 3 of them that are over 500.
And then even the Falcons, their quarterback situation sucks, but they have a lot of talent on that roster.
And Tua can do things just like Penix. I think Penix is going to lose the job to Tua.
Yeah, but it's
Penix not
2
good.
cheeks from the same ass. So
They are, but Tua at least can like stay in a box and play in the box and be good in that box. Or Penix is kind of like all over the place. Giants.
negative.
Man, I want to like this draft. I really do. Arbel Reese falling to them and then taking him. I don't know whether to think that's a good thing they took him or a bad thing. In the one end, I'm looking at going, well, he was consensus the next best player. Like, he's supposed to be a top 2 or 3 pick. He fell to you. Great. Man, he just doesn't sound like he's with it. Like, when I hear him interview, it sounds bad with the interviews, man, but he just sounds like he's completely spaced out when he talks in interviews. Like, some of his answers are just kind of ridiculous and crazy. I think he's a weird tweener. He's not going to be Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
He's not thick like that. But they're trying to force him into it. So now all of a sudden, if you don't think he's an edge, then you're drafting a third edge that really isn't an edge. Are you going to put him at linebacker? Because then now you've gone too high with him because Sonny Styles is a better linebacker than he is, like a true linebacker. So it's like, what are you doing? Moe Goa, love the pick. Hood, appropriate. Malachi Fields gives them something different than they already have. And then I think the rest of the picks are just kind of like meh. So I'll give him like a B minus. And if Arbel Reese hits, it's an A, right?
If he doesn't, it's a C minus. This is kind of like the 2023 draft when they get Thibodeaux and Evan Neal. You got the kind of outside linebacker tweener-ish, and then you got the offensive tackle that might have to move to guard and Evan Neal. But Maui Noah doesn't have the content balance issues that Evan Neal had, so I think he's going to be better. He's not going to suck like Evan Neal.
So Jets,
you
don't like it as much as I do.
Yeah, I gave it a B.
A B. I gave it an A because I know David Bailey's high, but they need an edge rusher. He guarantees them an edge rusher that's certain level, where Arbel Reese was the pressure pick they were being pressured into, and they decided not to do that because they want to take the guy who is more bankable, and I respect that. Kenyon Sadiq, I'm in agreement. I am lower on Kenyon than consensus, but I would have dinged them a little for that because they don't really need a tight end either, Mason Taylor, but Omar Cooper Jr. makes up for it because I wanted Omar there, right? So the fact they still got Omar where they did, I think kind of takes the ding off of it a little bit. And now I'm looking at going, wow, they got Omar and Sadiq. And I love D'Angelo Pons as a good nickel corner. Daryl Jackson has some weird issues with him as far as like his, I guess, character or whatever.
Yeah.
With effort. But I think in round 4, like, it's appropriate. He'd probably be around 2, early round 3 if it wasn't for that. I liked Cade Klubnik getting a developmental quarterback, just see what happens, because this guy was supposed to be a first-round pick. It's like the Drew Aller pick with Pittsburgh. Why not? This guy was supposed to be a top 15 pick in the draft, and now he's not. The talent's there. See what you got in him. I don't mind that in round 4 for a developmental guy. And then I like VJ Payne late.
Yeah, I mean, My thing is, I just think David Bailey was bad value, but I think they were kind of screwed at value at pick 2 to begin with because this draft just wasn't very good, like top end wise. But like, even if they were screwed that way, it's still no matter what, they were kind of just got the short end of the stick. But they didn't help themselves with taking Kenyon Sadiq. I think Kenyon Sadiq's a good player. I like him. It's just when you're a team like the Jets, you already invested a second round pick in Mason Taylor last year, who was pretty decent. This is a luxury pick, and you can't afford to take luxury picks with the state of that roster right now. Yep. Getting Cooper, I think, makes up for it some, but I'm not as high on Cooper as you. I thought it would have been a reach for them to take him at 16. Right. I think where they got him at 30 is good value. I think D'Angelo Pons is very good value. I think Darrell Jackson's good value. But I just think they had 3 first-round picks, so they're supposed to get good players. I don't think they exceeded value too much. So a B, I think, is appropriate.
I think Omar Cooper, a 16's high for me too, by the way. But I think early 20s is what he felt like. I had him ahead of Makai Lemon.
I know you did. I didn't.
Right behind Casey Conception.
Yep.
Conception's my 3. And
I had him right behind Casey.
Yeah.
As well.
And then I just like Pons. I like the VJ Payne pick a lot. I like the Darrell Jackson pick if they can keep him in order. This feels like we want to make Geno Smith work, like they want it to work. And I feel like they really are leaning into it in some respects. And that's
because
part of
he wants to save his job.
Yes. That's part of it makes me not be like A++. It's just like an A, because I feel like they do lean into that a little bit where Glenn is like, man, they're trying to validate him as a coach. All right. Philly.
I gave it a B-.
Okay. Yeah. John Green here saying he likes him better than Casey. Thanks for all.
Yeah, he didn't like. He wasn't a big Casey guy I know of from the time I interacted with him. But yeah, thank you for commenting.
Yeah, share, subscribe. We have 162 people watching. We started with 20.
Yeah, it's been growing throughout. I think it peaked up at like 175 like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, we're keep sharing it.
Yeah.
All right, so and we're on the wrong night, so I think that's part of it. Why?
Yeah,
Sunday's a weird day. All right, Philly. You go first.
I went with B-. I like Makai Lemon. I thought pick 20 is good value, and you had to trade up to get him. He was literally on the phone with Pittsburgh, about to get drafted, and then he's like, "Wait, why is Philly calling me?" Because Philly jumped in. I think that's one, a funny story, but two. But that's understandable why you made the trade up. It's like, I want him. He is getting taken at this next pick. I have to trade up here.
Yep.
And that I wasn't a big fan of Stowers because he's kind of a tweener. He's can't block at all. Too big to be a wide receiver. I think Philly will get some value out of him, but
sure. Yeah.
I think in this day and age, tight ends are being asked to block more and more as we're moving back into that running, like
moving back to the
ground and pound run game. A little bit with all the too high shells teams are running. So you need tight ends who can block or at least be able to semblance of a blocker. He is a terrible blocker.
I can defend it.
You need someone who can at least, who's not going to be a liability blocking.
I can defend it because first of all, Makai Lemon, I'm lower on than you are, but I agree it was a good pick because they had good intel on who wanted him and they jumped him. That was smart drafting, right? Like if they like him better than anybody else, go get him, right? Whatever. Eli Stowers, and I have like an early second round grade on him, so it's not like really far off. Eli Stowers, I can understand it because of the AJ Brown stuff. He's definitely gone, and they're trying to stack receiver, not the receiver, but stack pass catching weapons to make up for the difference. They're not going to be able to do it. There's just too many of them, and not enough of them are elite at doing it. So they're going to struggle with it, but they're just stacking the rooms as much as possible. Markel Bell to me was like, he's okay. Like I'm not a Marco guy. Cole Payton feels like
late fifth, I think.
Yeah, but
it's fine.
Are they? I mean, maybe it's pressure on Hurts.
And if they taste some hell, they can. There's some packages where you can have some value.
I thought Cole Wisniewski was a good pick late in the 7th.
Me too.
I like him better than that. What did you give him?
I gave him a B-.
That's me too. Yeah.
I think, and then you are Bernard. He's never played football before, but that he probably had the greatest athletic testing I've ever seen out of anyone ever. And like he's 6'4", like 320 pounds, 6% body fat. Like
We'll bring you on next time, John.
and in a 7th round, that's the definition of a dart throw. Where if you can teach him remnants of how to play football, he could become a good player.
Yeah.
Last time they did it with Jordan Mailata when they got him over from Great Britain. They were kind of like the first one to do that, and the teams have tried to follow like us. They got a elite right tackle out of it, so they're trying it again with Bernard.
I think you put that guy defensive tackle. No.
Yeah, that's what they have him listed.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if he was. I thought he heard O tackle somewhere. I'm like, no, that dude's a D tackle. He's gonna wreck.
Yeah.
If he can get him under control. All right, Pittsburgh, home stretch here. Max, I don't know how to say it.
Iron
Anchor. He's really raw. I don't love it, but I think they didn't have any other options at that point, really, to go. Unless
when they were literally about to be calling,
Yeah.
Mackay, how do you like to be a Pittsburgh Steeler?
they missed.
Wait, Philly's calling me. Why?
Yeah, and I'll give him credit. They pivoted to a player that's not. He's maybe not Mackay Lemon, but I think he's a better separator than Lemon. I think he will be in the NFL. I should say.
Yeah.
But not as good after the catch, not as good at the catch point, things like that. So I think he's probably rated a little lower than Mackay Lemon, even in my eyes. But he's the type of player they want in Pittsburgh, and they went and got him, right? Jeremy Bernard is just going to be steady Eddie. He can probably a Z, but you can put him in the slot in that offense with those two big outside receivers. He gives them something they need. So they hit tackle and they hit receiver, two of the biggest needs. Drew Aller was interesting. I think he was worth a dart throw. But they never hit running back, and I really think that they should have with their running back room.
I think Warren and Dowdle are fine.
Yeah.
And they did take Caleb Johnson, the 3rd round pick last year, and then I think Dowdle and Warren are fine. I think it's a fine room. They put some assets into it, a couple of mid draft picks and a free agent signing, and then you got Eli Hendrick and the 7th round, who can kind of be like a use check. He can take some snaps at running back, so I think it's fine.
They picked up Caden Weechin before we picked up Chris Bell. Or not Chris Bell. Sorry, Skylar Bell.
Yeah.
And
he's
just going to be a priority returner for them, basically. So it's going to be them fighting for a job, Heidenreich and Weechin, I think.
Yeah.
I think this draft is fine. I'd give us like a B+.
That's what I gave it. I thought they got some pretty decent. I like Everett and Jennings, Dunker. I thought were good value where they got them too.
Mm-hmm.
Just nothing extraordinary to make it an A, but I thought they just made some quality picks.
I like the Seahawks top 4 picks a lot.
Me too.
I do think Jadarian Price at the end of 1st round, I probably wouldn't have done that. I would have traded back if I could. I just think he would have probably lasted longer if I had to guess. But I mean, we don't know the intel. Maybe he wasn't. Bud Clark, awesome. Julian Neal, great pick. Bo Stevens, love it. Not a big Emmanuel Henderson guy, but we're talking about round 6 here. Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't really grade drafts after round 5 because I think after round 5 they're unlikely to make the team. So I always just grade the top and then the rest are dart throws. I give this like a B+.
That's what I gave it to. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think they didn't really have like valuable positions that they needed too much, so they just went and got good players.
Man, this draft, the Niners are the weirdest team. Deshaun Stribling was definitely a reach. I don't care what anybody says. I know he was flying up.
And you were higher on him than most people.
I like him. But man, I have him below Skylar Bell.
Yeah.
I have him below a lot of guys like Brazel, players like that. Deshaun Stribling's a good player, but he's stiff. I don't like. He's an okay route runner, but there's no wiggle to his game. I just thought they caught a hype train on him and were like, we got to get him the first pick of the 2nd round. Like, man, I don't know. Feels a lot like Keon Coleman and a lot like Jalen Polk and a lot like Xavier. Well, Xavier Legette had more heat for longer, though, than those guys. But, I mean, I thought that was a bad pick. Romello Height, I'm okay with. I'm not super high on him, but I think that was fine as a second edge for them because they do need an edge. They hit a need. Kalen Black, backup, need. Love Grayson Holton. I thought that was really good value there. And I like Price Hawk. Although
I think Duggar in the 5th, I think is decent value.
I do too. And I'll say Price Hawk, that's earlier than I thought he would go, though. You know what I mean? Like I thought he's like a 5th-ish, 6th round pick.
Well, I mean,
there.
That is basically the 5th round.
That's true. I I give this like a C+ as well.
That's exactly what I gave it to.
Yeah, it's just like I don't hate it, but it's also like the reach on Dazon Stribling to me is a little bit egregious.
Yep.
All
I
right,
give this an A.
you're gonna like this more than me.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I think the first 4 picks are awesome.
Yeah.
5 picks are okay. Maybe it is an A.
Yeah, Bane at pick 15 is great value. He has the best film out of any edge. He only fell because of the arm length. As soon
Trotter.
as he fell this
Good.
far, I knew Cassius Howell wasn't a first round pick. I'm like, if teams are passing on Bane for his arm length, they're
Howell's
definitely not drafting Howell
Howell's not
early.
gonna go.
And then Trotter, I think mid second, perfect value for him. He's Levante David replacement.
Yep.
Ted Hurst in the middle of the 3rd round. I think that's really good value. And it's not like they need to rely on him heavy. They have good receivers already with Godwin and with Emeka Buka. So they can let him develop because he's kind of more of a developmental guy coming from a smaller college.
Yep.
Keontae Scott, mid 4th, good value. And they didn't even make a lot of trades. They're just like, we're going to just sit and pick where the value takes us.
Yep.
And
I like
Devontae
even
Keyhart
like
in the 5th round,
I even like
Shrout
Billy.
in the 5th.
I like Shrouth in the 5th too. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an A- draft. Maybe A. Because I mean, Ted Hurst value, great mid 3rd.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna be a 2nd. Josiah Trotter, right in the range you want them. They're catching Ruben Bain much later than anybody anticipated. They took him. Keontae Scott, I thought he could have gone earlier. DeMonte Capehart, I kind of wanted him for Buffalo. Good. Yeah, we're both on the same page there. Tennessee, man. I like it. It's fine. I thought the Carnell Tate was just too high. I would have taken somebody different there. Arvell Reese would have been a better pick. Although I made a bunch of bad comments about him earlier, I thought that was a more appropriate value than a Carnell Tate, who's like a number 2 receiver, probably.
But I do understand the thought process though.
Yeah.
Their boundary 1 is Elik Ayomena right now, so that is pretty rough. I'm mad at them for taking Tate because I already explained about the trickle down effect with a leading Desmus on KC. But I gave this a B+. I thought they got good. I really like Keldrick Falk trading back into the end of the 1st round. I think it's good. Anthony Hill at the end of the 2nd, I think is really good. Fernando Carmona in the 5th round, I think is good value.
Pat Coogan and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. They got some good offensive line depth. Nicholas Singleton, he was a day 2 guy going into the year. Penn State kind of fell off the face of the earth. So how much am I going to really put on him with all the other issues they had? End of the 5th round, I think is decent value.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they got a bunch of quality players, a couple of starters, and some good depth.
I give it a B. Yeah. I said, my thought process is like this receiver draft is so like not top heavy, other than Tyson who had injury issues.
And next year's the exact opposite.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like you could have gotten a player that wasn't as good as Tate, but like can do similar things for you that maybe has a different upside to them, that they may not realize. And then maybe double up at receiver if you're so bad at it, and take, first pick, take Arvell Reese, get your Keldrick Falk, and then maybe double up at receiver somewhere in the middle, like something like that. Because they need more than just one guy, at the end of the day.
Yeah. But that can be next year's class. They can get a receiver next year also.
Sure.
I gave this a B.
Okay.
They only had 2 picks in the top 130. And I thought Sonny Stott, and they only made 1 trade. They were just like, we're going to sit and pick. And I thought they got some pretty good value. Sonny Styles, I think, was the 2nd best player in this class. They got him. Not a valuable position. Actually, no, 3rd best player. Not a valuable position. Pick 7, thinks good value, though. Even if it's a low value position. Antonio Williams, I think, in the 3rd round, really good. He's done it. Going to have to step in and have to be a number 1 because you got Terry McLaurin there. So it takes pressure off him to develop. I had Joshua Josephs, the top 15 edge. I think his run defense is really good, and they kind of needed that because they have Owe and Chase on, who are your pass rushers. They needed somebody to defend the run, and Joshua Joseph, I think, was one of the best run defending edge in the class. Katron Allen in the 6th, I think that's decent value. Their RB room isn't good, so you just keep dart throws until you strike gold.
They got some developmental late that they need. They got Allegretti that's slated there now, but that's probably not their ideal.
And then I've never even heard of the Rutgers QB.
I don't know him either. Yeah,
I honestly didn't. I didn't even see that. I honestly didn't even see that they drafted him until right now.
He went ahead of Nussmeier, which is weird.
And I don't like Nussmeier, but him falling is
Yeah, me either.
is
He's
crazy.
the underwhelming athlete. Yeah, I agree. Sonny Styles for me, if that was appropriate. I'm not a big linebacker early guy, but I think he's one of the best linebacker prospects, like true linebacker prospects we've seen in a little while.
Best one since Roquan.
Yeah, I would say so. And I even like him better than I do Roquan. Antonio Williams, good job. That's their best pick. Like, they needed round 3, good value, is a round 2 grade for me. He's a separator. He can play in the slot. He's got a little bit of Z-flex, but he's going to be really good at just creating separation and getting open over the middle of the field for Daniels, who struggles to throw over the middle of the field sometimes. You got a lot of outside guys that just kind of veer off. Diami Brown, McLaurin. This guy's going to give you kind of a nice little slot presence there to give him a safety blanket. So I like that a lot. Joseph, I agree. I think they needed another edge that was like a run stopper, kind of like the Ravens needed Zion Young.
Yeah.
This is a B+ for me too. I just think that they did a good job with what they had. The thing with them too is they didn't really have that many assets, so I thought they really hit on the things they needed to at the time to get what they needed out of the draft without moving a whole bunch, right? Because I kind of expected them to move more than they did. So, all right, we're running way over time. I didn't realize it'd be 2 hours and 20 minutes, but I appreciate everybody coming out. We'll see you guys next Monday. We're off tomorrow. Please like, share, subscribe, and go Bills.
Go Bills.
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliot Apollos, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Do Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Do Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Do Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.